And now, from the bowels of the internet, it's the Hate-Bit Podcast.
The Hate-Bit Podcast is on the air. Welcome, I'm Yellkaos. Joining me as always, the amorous Alpha Omega Sin.
So you say I called your mother a cunt. False. She lacks the depth and warmth.
Oh, the seductive Sainted Magnus.
Oh, you didn't know? I don't.
And everybody's buddy, fucking RazörFist.
Yes, RazörFist, also a sexual maneuver currently popular with double amputees.
Heyo.
Heyo.
Welcome to our show. We got a lot today. Well, not as much as we thought, but hey, we're just going to sit here and say fuck a whole bunch, and we hope that'll do. So thank you, and welcome to our show. Now, it's time for a discussion topic. You know that thing we do in the beginning of the show. Every single week right here in the Hate-Bit Podcast. But today we're doing something different. We're going to discuss games that we like, which you know we don't do that very often on this show. No, we're talking about movie games, our favorite movie games, licensed or otherwise. And you know who was most excited to talk all about this was the Sainted Magnus. Sainted Magnus, what video games based on movies do you like?
Well, let's just start off with some of the Star Wars titles that have been adapted from movies.
Yeah.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
There's a
Super Return of the Jedi. AABBXXYYABXY. Mm-hmm.
cheat codes. Given to you by the RazörFist. There we go. Right, I've always liked the expanded universe when it comes to Star Wars games. For example, Force Unleashed, Shadows of the Empire, the Dark Forces / Jedi Knight series. They've always made really good extended universe games. When it comes to actual movie games, obviously, as RazörFist mentioned, the Super Star Wars games, and he gave you a lovely cheat for that. Now, no matter what the AVGN said about the Star Wars games on the NES, they did a port for the Game Boy of the original Star Wars movie and it was fantastic. It was great fun. Even though it was hard as fucking balls to play, it was good fun. Some of the movie games I actually like. Trying to go off Star Wars here because not a lot of people like Star Wars.
What about Lord of the Rings? I loved The Two Towers and Return of the King. If you want a good hack and slash with RPG elements, you cannot go wrong with The Two Towers and Return of the King. They are fucking great.
Oh yeah, they were good games, but
You just gotta avoid Fellowship of the Ring because that's a big steaming pile.
Oh, and you need to avoid the Third Age.
More in the north.
The goddamn
or in the fucking north. You need to avoid that. You need to avoid that like some fucking cheap slapper or slag or whatever you want.
Slapper.
The bitch,
Well,
slap on.
I swear.
Slap off.
I swear, if you pick up War in the North, you are going to contract some form of fatal disease. And you.
Oh, and what was the other game? The other game that came out, it was like basically just a big online multiplayer frag fest based on Lord of the Rings. Was it Battle for Middle Earth?
Battle for Middle Earth, yeah. That was
something like that. Anyways, it was shit.
It
was really, really shit.
Yeah. There was a lot of Lord of the Rings games which sucked, but I think one of my favourites was Third Age, but that was because I like turn-based RPGs anyway.
Oh
so
God! But it was just a poor man's Final Fantasy X.
They used
and can I tell you a really?
Let's put it this way: would you rather play Final Fantasy X, or would you rather play Lord of the Rings Third Age?
Okay, good point.
Clock ticking.
But I don't know, guys. Like playing as I can't believe it's not the Fellowship of the Ring the whole time. It's like, hey, Limley the dwarf and Gegalus the elf. Would you like to go to Mount Doom? Or you know what I mean? Like it's so transparent.
I just wish that they'd put value time somewhere on the product. It'd make me very happy.
It was just funny because can I tell you a really fucking embarrassing story about that game, real quick? It was 2-player. One of the things I actually legitimately like about the Third Age is it's 2-player co-op, and it's an RPG, so you can play with a friend. Mm-hmm. And so one of the characters is I can't believe it's not Aragorn, and he's the ranger guy.
Yeah, he's the Gondonian.
Yeah, and then there's I can't believe it's not Arwen, who's the chick, the elf chick, basically. And we were playing. My friend Nathaniel comes over, and we're rocking some Lord of the Rings: The Third Age because I just bought it and I'm really not liking it. So I'm like, play it with me, suffer with me. So we're playing 2-player co-op. We hit a boss fight, and I forget what it was, a Nazgul or something, and we kill the bad guy, and then a cutscene plays, and I can't believe it's not Aragorn starts making out with I can't believe it's not Arwen. Our characters start making out, and we're like looking at each other all awkward, like, okay,
did this just happen?
How about those Oakland A's?
Like, so this is co-op nowadays, I see. Huh.
Do I have to kiss you, or could I just bail out like right now?
You better hit X now for that grope scene. Oh, shit, you missed. Back to the checkpoint.
Yeah, that was the whole thing. It was linear. I will give it that. It was.
You should just be thankful you weren't playing Brokeback Mountain, the video game.
God. You can just imagine that, couldn't you? Oh.
I can't believe I made that reference in the year 2012, but hey, I'm going with it.
I don't know. Well, RazörFist kept on saying, I can't believe it's not, and I kept on thinking about the Fabio commercials with the I can't believe it's not butter, and then I was like, well, for RazörFist, maybe we could put in Thor in there instead of Fabio, and there you go.
The best was when those commercials turned into I can't believe it's not butter spray. It's like I kind of think it detracts from the romantic element of Fabio for him to be hawking some fucking spray.
Well, I also think that the I can't believe it's not butter coming in a spray form really detracts from the credibility of it being.
Yeah, well, I mean, what is this spray on deodorant for Jim Sterling? What the fuck? How far are we going with this?
No, it's sun cream for Jim Sterling.
The thing is, like, whenever you actually say what it really is, it's artificial margarine spray. Now think about that. That's like the fattest fat kid thing ever. That's like one of the worst.
That's like taking a warm stick of margarine and just squeezing the shit out of it.
Dude, and it was always on English muffins. That's the thing that fucking freaked me out. They never and corn. They had corn and English muffins at all fucking times, and they were like, yeah, spray that bitch down. Yeah, just like that.
We don't go to I can't believe it's not butter salons and shit.
Man, we are sticking to the topic so hard.
Yes,
no.
Oh yeah, so movie-based games that don't have to do with
that
butter.
we like.
Well, I'm actually now I'm going to get a Kickstarter going for like Fabio the game.
Wait,
I can't
we've had that, wasn't it?
No.
The
The best thing was that how he said it. He was, I can't believe it's not butter. Spray. That's the best part.
You just get a little bit of sprittle on the camera lens by accident. Splay.
You seem to say it as though it were a question. I can't believe it's not butter?
He's not really sure. He's just like, I don't know. Not sure if what.
He's asking what his motivation is.
I can't believe we've just gone from video games we like to Fabio fucking...
And food product.
Product place.
Back to Fabio.
Right, here. I will go and get this shit back on fucking track. Okay, I'm gonna go and throw in my hat. Motherfucking Die Hard Arcade. Hell yes.
Oh yeah. Any of the Die Hard games.
Dynamite Cop?
Well, yeah, okay. It is Dynamite Cop with a Die Hard license thrown on it, with a very ugly-looking John McClane. Look, fuck it, okay? It's not that big of a deal. It's still Die Hard, and if you need official shit, then you just get Die Hard Trilogy on PS1 and Sega Saturn, and there you go. That's official stuff. And it's also really good if you use the Justifier gun on PS1, because then the Die Hard 2 plays 1,000 times better, and it's actually a lot of fun. It's still hard as fucking piss, though.
One of my favorite actually one of my favorite games of all time is a movie licensed game. It came out over a decade after the movie it's based on, though, and that's Blade Runner for the PC.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely incredible game, point and click mystery game with gajillion endings. Never plays the same twice. Like randomized shit. It's just so good. It's really, really good.
See, I'd never played it, and the main reason why I was like, I have some interest in this, because you spoke highly of it, and I saw it the other day at half-price books, but they wanted an absurd amount of money for it, and I was like,
They did?
Yeah, fuck
Man,
them.
I went into half price books in mind you, this was in like 2008, but I got my copy for $2.50.
Then I need to go to that half-price books, because the one that I went to, like, keep in mind, they're really good on, like, I go there for comics, basically, because I get lots of dollar comics, but I went in there, and I was like, oh, games, let's see if they have anything. All their games are severely overpriced. I'm talking, like, they wanted $6 for Super Mario Brothers Duck Hunt. That shit is 50 fucking cents on a good day, and that they were like, I was like $6 for a loose cart. This shit ain't even in a box. This is crackhead prices. But I saw Blade Runner, picked it up all excited, looked at the price. I was like, nah, I think you go back on the shelf.
It's one of those, it's like, oh.
Yeah, it's
in
mass
their
disappointment.
defense. In their defense, around here, Mario Kart or Mario Brothers Duck Hunt goes for like $20 at some places.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's
Come
okay.
on.
Well, I'm sorry.
I'm not even exaggerating. I mean, there's a lot of people right now listening from Los Angeles, California, who know that prices are out of fucking hand over here.
Oh, they're ridiculous. It's because these people have discovered Amazon, and they're like, ooh, look what this one went for. Look what this one went for. We'll charge that much in the store. Like,
So, movie games?
Oh, here,
Yeah,
another one for
we'll
NES.
badmouth those people later.
If anybody's gotten to see it, it's actually a pretty decent movie. Obviously it's going to be subtitled and everything, but Sweet Home for NES, the survival horror RPG that's on there. It's definitely an awesome game.
Own that?
What's up?
Aren't you one of like 6 people who own that game?
Yeah, dude, I'm sorry, but I was so fucking excited at the prospect of being able to have like a physical cart of that, because I love that game to death, and I was like, hey, very cool stuff. But it was definitely neat, and trying to think, what was one that is remotely somewhat kind of movie related, because it's an unofficial sequel, is Stranglehold. So
okay, what about? Sorry, it just popped into my head. What about the Judge Dredd SNES game? Did any of you guys ever play that?
Never.
That was actually really good. You could instead of killing, it was one of the first games I ever played where you had lethal and non-lethal options. You could shoot somebody with like rubber bullets, and then they would be stunned, and you could arrest them and read them their rights and shit. And like, this is on the SNES. This is years before its time. This is like, when did the movie come out? 95, 96?
No, I feel like 92 or 93.
No, it's later than that.
No, later than that.
Really?
Yeah.
I am the law.
I'll IMDb it now. But there is one game we have seriously missed. And
what?
We're going to have fans shouting at the fucking computer saying, "You missed
They're doing
this
it already.
game!" And that is the NES version of Batman.
Yeah.
That is such a fucking good game.
I prefer Batman Returns, actually, to the both in movie and video game form. But that's just me.
I agree.
I don't know. Well, see, the one thing I was mentioning before the podcast, I recently got to pick up a game that I've been wanting for a very, very, very long time, and just could never manage to find for a decent price. But I did, and that's Batman Returns on SNES, the beat 'em up.
Yes!
And that game rocks socks. So now I have it for Sega Genesis and for Super Nintendo, and they're pretty different too. So it's worth owning them both.
Oh, and there's an NES version too that's like a beat 'em up. Also, it doesn't work quite as well as the SNES version, but yeah.
See, I never got to try that. Oh, here, you know what? Everybody is when you mentioned the movie-based game that everybody's gonna be like, why the fuck haven't you said it? Well, the most obvious choice and most obvious candidate, of course, is GoldenEye.
Oh yeah,
naturally.
It was fantastic, and even its sequel, World Is Not Enough, wasn't too bad.
Oh yeah, World Is Not Enough was fantastic, so underrated.
It was a good game. I enjoyed it. Oh, and just for the record, Judge Dredd came out in 1995. for the for
Wow.
the Asian version. There is one game that I discovered actually this year because I had a massive Power Rangers kick, and that was the Power Rangers the movie
No kidding.
on the Genesis / Mega Drive. It was fantastic. It's
Pretty
very
good stuff.
it is actually a good fucking game. Give it its due. It is good.
Yeah.
Well,
The Power Rangers. Some of those Power Rangers games are really good. Some are shit, but
Yeah, some are shit. The ones on the DS ain't too bad.
Well,
I
in the
liked-
arcades, we had two different things to go with, and we had Jurassic Park, the arcade game
Oh,
by
yes.
Sega.
Yeah.
And
Oh, and the
Lost
Lost World too. They made a bunch of like sequels to those. And oh god, how could we pass this up? Nobody who went in an arcade in the mid or to the early to mid '90s could go into an arcade without seeing this like front and center. But Star Wars the arcade.
I have
Oh,
that
the one that you
32X.
sit down inside of?
You sit down on it. Yeah. You actually did.
It
the
was
speeder-
always broken.
You did the speeder bike chase in that, and like that was a really cool arcade cabinet actually.
Probably one
I,
of the best.
I still see those from time to time. The last time I saw it was actually at a fucking pizza parlor, which I thought was kind of amusing. But it was just sitting there up at the front. I was like, cool. Popped in fucking
And-
50 cents and sat down and waited for my food.
And throw it out there, Star Wars the arcade for 32X, one of the best games for 32X.
It is one of the better games for the 32X, I will say that, because I've got it myself, and I had great fun with it.
It's fucking great. It was one of the first times you could actually like pick your ship in a like X-wing game. I mean, there was obviously X-wing versus TIE Fighter at the time and stuff, which I love.
Oh,
But,
yes, but
you know.
I just while we're on the subject of space combat games, Rogue Squadron on the 64, PC, and GameCube, all of them, all
Yeah.
three games, they were fantastic. It's a series that they should bring back and actually, show what I know
Rogue
Factor 5
Squadron
doesn't
was
exist.
fun, but it was like Rogue Squadron is like the Star Fox to X-wing versus TIE Fighter's Wing Commander.
Oh, yeah.
It's like if you want a proper space flight combat version of Star Wars, don't fuck around with Rogue Squadron. Just go straight to X-wing versus TIE Fighter, X-wing Alliance, TIE Fighter, whatever. They had a million expansions of this. fucking game.
There was X-wing, then there was TIE Fighter, then they did
Yeah.
X-wing versus TIE Fighter, then they did the flight school of X-wing versus TIE Fighter,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
they did then
X-wing
they did
Alliance.
X-wing Alliance, which was actually the best version.
Oh yeah,
of-
Alliance is the ultimate. Great single player campaign, unbelievable customizable multiplayer.
and you could fly the Millennium Falcon, or a ship to that effect. That
Yeah.
was the whole point of playing that game, was just to fly that ship.
And before we change topic, I do have to throw this out there because it's my favorite NES game of all time. Mentioned it before the podcast, but
And
a lot of
we
people,
took the piss out of you for it.
yeah, a lot of people hate it, but you're wrong. And it's Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, which is also a much better movie than the Russell Crowe version. But yeah, the Kevin Costner.
Why are
with an
you
American
saying that like it needed to be said? Of course.
Kevin Costner with an American accent in medieval England is actually better than Russell Crowe's Robin Hood. What the fuck?
Yeah. And no,
Yeah.
just Morgan Freeman. That's enough for me to make me watch that film, because Morgan
Man, he was
Freeman,
great in that.
he is fucking God. I don't care. He's
And
fucking God.
Alan Rickman, just
Alan Rickman was a fantastic bad guy in that.
great movie. But yeah, really good game. It mixed RPG and hack and slash and like kind of an isometric strategy RTS type game, all in one. You had an inventory, you had HP, you leveled up, but you actually swung your weapon in real time. It was really ahead of its time, and I played that game until my thumbs fell off. So the only downside is it's an RPG, it's relatively long, and it doesn't have a save feature. So if you're
And
gonna
you
sit-
have no thumbs.
yeah, if you're gonna sit down and play it, you better have an afternoon, which I did on several occasions. So
Well, how old was he back then?
I was like 7 or 8. So
Well, it was
It was-
1991. You would have been.
yeah, and technically speaking,
6.
I've said before that Breath of Fire is my first RPG, but really, if I'm looking back, the first game that was like a proper RPG for me was Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. So pretty good game. Yeah.
Here, I'll throw out one last one just because, well, it hasn't been mentioned, and it also is one of the best soundtracks out of everything that we've mentioned, and that's Terminator on Sega CD.
Ooh.
It's a really awesome game. I can't beat the game for the life of me because it is just frustratingly difficult, but if you have the patience to get through the stages and everything and memorize like all the enemy locations and whatnot, it is a lot of fun. But seriously, just if you get bored, just type in Terminator Sega CD and music on YouTube and check it out because it's got very gnarly fucking soundtrack and fuck it, Terminator Salvation arcade, very good shoot 'em up.
Can I just throw one last one out there which I really love on the Genesis, and that is RoboCop versus Terminator. Fucking fantastic game. The soundtrack on it is fantastic. The graphics are fantastic. The gameplay on it is fantastic. And plus, there's a cheat code where you can turn the guys into hookers and blow the fuck up, bomb the fuck up. It's just fantastic. I know it's not movie related per se.
Well, it technically is.
But now it is.
RoboCop
But back then
and
it wasn't.
Terminator.
Yeah, it's
A straight up movie adaptation, and this will be the last one I bring up. A lot of people talked when Batman Arkham Asylum came out about how Batman was finally back and he finally had a good game, but that's not fucking true. Actually, there was the game that provided the blueprint for Batman Arkham Asylum in terms of having it be a stealth game in 3D and having like intimidation techniques and whatever was the Batman Begins adaptation of whatever. It's on PS2 and Xbox and GameCube and what. Anyways, this game is underrated as shit. It is seriously underrated. It was Batman Arkham Asylum before Batman Arkham Asylum existed. It just wasn't open world. It was linear, but it's like a linear version of Batman Arkham Asylum. So I have to throw that out there. I remember playing it and being like, okay, it's a movie game. It's probably gonna suck, and it turned out to be absolutely fantastic. So I have to, yeah. Anything else? Yellkaos, do your job.
I was waiting for you to shut up. That's my job.
fair enough. Do you have any games to throw out there, or have we pretty much covered everything?
For me, you guys kind of covered it pretty good, and I'm very proud of you. You guys have done an excellent job. There's banana stickers in your future.
Can I have a
Banana
cookie?
stickers.
I want a cookie.
You want a cookie? You may have a cookie.
Yay!
But
Yes,
everybody's
everyone
expecting him
else-
to have a muffin.
Everyone else gets sainted muffins, you know.
Oh.
For
I
me,
can go
one
with
that was really fun, even though the game is nothing more than a reimagining of the movie with some quick time events and a few bonuses, was The Warriors. If anybody remembers that, based on the 19. I want to say the movie was like 1980.
I
thought
think
it
it
was
was a bit
70s.
older than that.
I want to say it was like 1980. I think it was. I don't know. Sainted Magnus, you're in charge of fact checking. Please tell me.
It was 78 or 79.
Was it 78? Yeah, it's somewhere right in there. And
Warriors,
1979.
1979.
See, I was close. The chief from where in the world is Carmen Sandiego was in that movie.
Ooh.
Yeah, you didn't know that. Yeah. It's like the lady on the DJ on the radio talking about boppers. That's the chief.
Bibbidi-bobbidi. Sorry.
See, you didn't know that. You learn something new every week right here in the Hate-Bit Podcast. Oh, that's a good one. And and the new Ghostbusters game that came out just a few years ago is actually pretty. Now it acts as sort of a unofficial sequel, but a damn good game nevertheless. Especially on the Wii, it takes good use of the motion control.
Oh yeah. The
I
Wii
sounded like Cronkite just then.
apparently the Wii version is actually pretty good.
I enjoy it thoroughly. In fact, I was in a store the other day and I saw the PlayStation 2 version, and I remember people bad-mouthing the Wii version against the PlayStation 2 version because somehow the Wii was less powerful than the PlayStation 2. And that's when you wish you were dead.
They're apparently the same game, but the PS3 and the Xbox 360 versions kind of used more realistic models. But both games are, both versions of the game are just very similar, to the Wii versions.
Well, like I said,
It's just different characters. Different character models. And
yeah,
they all work.
Oh, I'm sure they do. In my opinion, it's not a perfect game, mind you, but it's a damn good game, and I don't know anyone else can say any different.
It was fantastic. Anyway.
Yes, but anyway, moving on.
Yes,
moving on.
moving on.
We think we talked all about that, and we'll see how far we can get off topic later on this week. Oh, you know what? It's time for the Hate-Bit Cunt Bag. Hate-Bit Cunt Bag, where we go through mail and stuff, and all the letters that you drop to us here at YouTube and at Hate-Bit
Whatever
Podcast.
you do, don't read any emails from Canadian girls. Don't do it.
No, there will be no. You know how I feel about Canadian girls. The same way.
So does Canadian girls know about what you like about?
Honestly, the same way I feel about Booker T and I don't know.
Oh,
Anyway,
King Booker.
King Booker, yes.
I stopped giving a shit when he started doing that. I was like, oh, yeah, you won King of the Ring, so fucking what?
Yeah, well, it was a tired gimmick then. Anyway, please drop us a line at hatebitpodcast@gmail.com. If you have a question, a comment, a concern, a query of any kind, please do so. This week's Hate-Bit Cunt Bag is brought to us by, oh, you know what, in the spirit of the Halloween season, our good friend, my friend, your friend, RazörFist, has dropped his very first candy line, and it'll be available shortly in the Hate-Bit store. It's, RazörFist's own apple-flavored Razor Bits. It's a dead man's party right in your mouth. So go out and get yourself some apple-flavored Razor Bits. Anyway, we got a piece of mail coming to us at hatebitpodcast@gmail.com. And, from a pretty common contributor, the Dynasty Star, he drops a line. He says, hey, guys.
Hey.
Hi there.
He goes on to say, I think it is clear to everybody that there is a number of people in the gaming industry whose death wouldn't be brutal enough to make you happy, even if Freddy Krueger had his fun with them. Right. He says, my question is for the opposite side of the spectrum. Who do you look up to, respect, or idolize most in the gaming industry?
Short answer or long answer?
Well, you know what? Do what you feel. Sainted Magnus, you spoke up first. Who do you enjoy in the gaming? I can't think of anybody.
Nobody. It's just that fucking simple.
I can
that's
think
the long
of
and
two
short
people that I actually enjoy, and I enjoy their work anytime that their name is brought up, and that's Suda51, which that may sound pretty tired, but he's got a really out there perspective, and a lot of his games I have enjoyed them all. You know, from No More Heroes, Killer 7, Lollipop Chainsaw, and things like that. He's just a real fucking whack job as far as I'm concerned, but I like that. And Shinji Mikami, which, you know, he's one of the godfathers over at Capcom, but you know, no longer is taking up residence there. Look at that pun.
Oh.
Everybody piss on the pun, do it, then light it on fire. But yeah, there are two people that come to mind, because genuinely, like, if their name is dropped, then I'm just like, hey, that's pretty cool. I'll take notice to that. So yeah.
Awesome.
I would have pissed on that pun, but that would have been a biohazard.
Oh, this guy. Oh.
No.
Oh, you're such a tyrant. and right now, I can hear like a shitload of groans just everywhere across the world.
It's just groaning in unison.
The Hate-Bit spectrum of fans is just going, oh god, they have better material than us, but in fact we don't. We don't.
It reminds me of Abe's Exodus, when you take all your mates down and they find this drinks machine, they drink everything, and you speak to them, and they all go, oh. I love that
I like to think that we do have fans over into Abe's Exodus and Abe's Odyssey world. That would be quite nice.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are two names there.
Names, I guess I would throw Tim Schafer out there. I've enjoyed some of his stuff. I enjoyed Brutal Legend. I enjoyed Grim Fandango a lot. Psychonauts. He makes really funny games usually with interesting game mechanics. I think he was overreaching a little bit when he made Brutal Legend with the RTS thing. Was probably not wise, but yeah, I enjoy some of his stuff. But I don't know. There's very few. The thing about the industry now is that individuals are less important than ever. But the ones who are important are way too important. Like Kojima, I don't think anybody's going to argue that Kojima shouldn't have much less power than he does right now.
If he gets any more power, he'll become the emperor.
I was going to say, he basically runs
unlimited power. Sorry.
It's like The problem I have with Hideo Kojima is the same problem I have with Grant Morrison. Like, if Hideo Kojima were to make a Batman game, he would make a Kojima game first, and Batman would be in it. You know what I mean? Grant Morrison, he's a comic book writer. He writes Grant Morrison comics, and then sometimes Batman's in them. You know what I mean? That's kind of my problem with him. So that's sort of my issue, and that's sort of the way a lot of people in the game industry work right now. Is like the guys who are powerful are way too fucking powerful, and the guys, everybody else doesn't fucking matter. So.
No,
Well,
that is actually
you
very
always
true.
have your Shigeru Miyamoto's. It's kind of hard to ignore a top dog like that, but everybody.
I'll throw Warren Spector out there for the creator of Deus Ex, and he worked on the third Thief game as well. He was at Looking Glass working on some of the like formative titles in that company's history, and now he's working on Epic Mickey. And he makes some pretty good games, and he's got more importantly, he's got a really interesting philosophy toward the game industry. And I think he's dead on. He's one of the most outspoken people against kind of fetishizing violence in video games, which I completely agree with, and I think it's happening more and more. And like, especially if you look at the advertising campaign for, say, Hitman Absolution. But he's just got a really interesting mind for the business. So, whenever he speaks, I'm pretty much all ears.
Chaos?
Does Yellkaos have anybody you want to toss out there?
Well, I have a smattering, and you mentioned Shigeru Miyamoto, and I was going to go with Shigeru Miyamoto for one reason and one reason only. For being able to look happy no matter what piece of software or hardware he is being asked to hawk. He always looks fucking...
I don't think he can unsmile. Seriously.
I know. I don't. I'm pretty certain there is a sniper rifle pointed right at his fucking head anytime he has presented something, and he's just yes, this wonderful. Like, remember, was it E3 a few years ago where the big fucking thing was connectivity between the GameCube and the Game Boy Advance, and he was just he was just ecstatic. I think they're going to kill him if he didn't sell that the right way.
Anybody who could act happy while they're unveiling Wii music.
See, you've noticed.
You're either high on Thorazine or you're Shigeru Miyamoto. Like,
well, who's to say it's not, half of one and half a dozen the other. And then who else? Who I love. Wouldn't say I admire or idolize this person, but someone that I really appreciate being in the video game journalism industry, being in that side of things. I really appreciate Jim Sterling, and I'll tell you why. Because he makes me feel so thin. That is all.
That is all. No, just while we're on Miyamoto for one little second, I think I figured out why he's always smiling.
Is it his Meg Ryan haircut?
No, I think what they've done is they've got somebody to just stick the foot up between his shoulder blades and just grab each side of his fucking lips and just pull them and then peg them to the back of his ears.
I think it's done with fishing line myself.
It's possible. I kept on thinking of the Hellraiser hooks with chains and everything, and he's walking around like that, being a bitch to the Cenobites and whatnot.
Yeah, he's probably saying really horrible shit, and like Bill Trinan is just making it sound all happy, but he's really saying, "I curse America and you sons of bitches, and I want to retire." Think about this guy. He is a guy that announced his retirement and almost sank a fucking company overnight.
I know. What was it? Fucking Nintendo stocks dropped.
Like
Nintendo stocks just dropped as soon as Miyamoto said.
It's like, I think I'm gonna go home. No.
You couldn't put it any better.
That's the way it felt. Anyway, it felt like a dead man's party right in your mouth. So that was good talk. I appreciate that. I thank you guys for your input. We have more mail here, right here at YouTube, at our YouTube inbox, and it comes to us from frequent contributor Lupacillo. Lupacillo says, "Greetings, Hate-Bit Heralds.
Oh,
I
hello
wholeheartedly
again.
with Chaos Rant last week about cooking. Oh, god damn it, I should have read this first. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, he says, I am sick. Oh, I should neglect to mention the subject title, or in his for his email, he says, "This retro craze has to die before I commit infanticide." So, we can go from there. He says, I am sick and tired of this retro, he uses in quote marks, craze, taking a huge, vile shit on my childhood and teen memories. I see these hairless 12-year-old kids thinking they're edgy playing older games, but what is considerably worse is when these little snots write or film reviews and criticize old games because the graphics are unimpressive. Motherfucker, these little mouth-breathing pukes who were born after the internet was invented have no idea what a good video game is all about, and they suddenly think they have the knowledge to tell a quality game from a shit pile smeared with maggot juice? I can go to my Sega Saturn right now and pop in Dark Savior and be blown away with what they could accomplish with 1 megabyte of RAM and a 320 by 240 screen resolution. These little faggots are a good reason abortion should be legal. In fact, every newlywed couple should get a free Hate-Bit home abortion kit just to make sure. So, in conclusion, if you weren't born and didn't grow up with older games, don't try to review them because you have no idea what you're talking about. Once again, thank you for the weekly assaulting our ears.
What do you mean? What do you mean? You can spend 10 minutes on Wikipedia and immediately know everything about gaming, right, Irate Gamer?
How'd you know YouTube? How'd you know YouTube got started, man? Come on, that's what it's about.
Real quick, I want to just go ahead and say that is one of my favorite letters we've ever gotten. I duly appreciate that.
I wish we had an award ceremony for letters.
Yeah, I literally would put it up there because I come across it all the fucking time. And the problem is that there's people playing retro games because they're old, not because they want to play a video game. They're like, yeah, I'm playing it because it's retro. It's now labeled in under a specific category, so now they're going to play it because that's different. No, just play video games. I don't go and watch movies because they're old. This one came out in the 70s. How retro. Oh, man, I'm watching Car Wash. This is so wacky because it's so old. Like, it would make no fucking sense. I don't sit downstairs and listen to fucking music just because it's old. Man, I'm unique all of a sudden because I'm listening to this because it's way before my... No, if you're fucking retarded if you think that way. And if they talk shit on the fucking graphics, they have no grasp of reality at all because... you know what? Fuck it. Just rape their mouth. There you go. That's my answer. Rape their mouth. Anytime that they go to talk, rape it.
Here's the definition of retro. Adjective. It meant... Oh, well, fucking hell, I can't read tonight.
Technically, it's a prefix.
Yes. It's clothes or music style, whole style, or design. So, fucking hell, imaginative... of those of the recent past. So basically, if it's old shit, you call it retro. But it says retro is in 60s fashion, not fucking last generation.
Well, retro just means
2 is
back
fucking
then.
retro.
Well, keep in mind, this is also the smattering amount of fucking retards that are just up in arms like, hey, is PS2 retro yet? Is it retro yet? Is the Nintendo Wii retro yet? Like, you're fucking wanting to jump the gun to call something retro so you can say that it's cool to play again.
You know who you know who fucking caused all this? You know who's to blame for all of this?
If you say James Rolfe...
Fucking VH1.
VH1.
VH1, man.
Are you talking about I Love the 80s?
They just did an I Love the 2000s special. They did it before the 2000s ended. They are literally doing retro specials on what is happening now. Like, what is wrong with you people? Like, this is so... Oh, VH1, oh my god.
If anybody's wondering, RazörFist is having an aneurysm and is pounding his fist down on a pile of Chinese workshop children because he is so fucking angry at the idea that these people have pulses.
Get him out! Back to work!
Get back
and if
to
this
work!
continues, he will start pounding American children.
Yeah, don't make him do that.
I will see to it. Mark my fucking words.
RazörFist, do you need a tissue?
No.
That's okay then. His brain's not melted out of his fucking nose.
He only
from
needs
this
a tissue
stupidity.
He only needs a tissue to wipe up the blood.
That's what I mean.
Because, quite frankly, there's going to be lots of death and chaos.
Yay!
It's absurd. We've gotten to the point. I think the fact of the matter is, let's just be real. Right now, kind of sucks. Okay, so I think people are looking.
Right now has always kind of sucked.
Yes, but right now, like really, so, I mean, in terms of world events, in terms of the economy and things of that nature, it's a quantifiable kind of suckage. I think people are, kind of like how we look back at the Great Depression and go, "Wow, that kind of sucked." You know what I mean? Like it's genuine. It's not a simple, the grass is always greener kind of a thing. So I think the fact of the matter is we're going back and we're looking for more and more recently for retro thrills, because it's like, oh God, how about 15 minutes ago? Boy, that was better than now, wasn't it? Jesus Christ.
No, but it's like there's two types of, I'm going to use quotes here, retro gamers, right? There's the kind of retro gamers that collect the stuff, collect games for these systems to try and preserve these for future generations. And then there's others that just follow the pack. They're like a flock of fucking sheep. They're thinking, oh, that guy plays old Nintendo things. I'll buy some of them, and then they buy the system, stick it in the cupboard, and then it never gets fucking used again.
Yeah.
That.
There's tons like that. I can't count how many times I've come across quote-unquote retro game collectors that they buy like thousands of games and consoles and everything, and they don't fucking touch them at all. And it might sound kind of ironic coming from an individual who has a game collection like mine, but I actually play my games, and I lend my games out to family and friends and everything so that they can also indulge in them and play them and things like that. I can't understand or grasp the concept of somebody wanting something just because it's old, just for the sake of having it, when it's a form of fucking entertainment. It's like buying a book that you don't read, or listening to CDs or getting CDs or fucking LPs that you're never going to listen to, or some shit like that. It would just be retarded.
Very.
Buying a book that you don't read, so like the Bible? No, I'm just fucking with you.
No, that's well.
No, that's
actually,
a book you don't take seriously.
Plenty of my
your
friends
fault.
say that Bible paper is best for rolling joints.
I was just going to say we used to do that in high school.
Oh,
dude,
And you only got really high because you were smoking ink.
Yeah, because that's what I asked my friends. I was just like, "Aren't you gonna be smoking ink?" And they were just like, "I don't give a fuck." I was like, "Okie
Are these the
dokie."
same kind of? Are these the same kind of people who put 420 in their screen name to appear edgy? Like, is this serious? Are these the same
I know
people?
who you're talking about.
I'll put it this way: all my friends that did stuff like this, like they didn't actually use 420 in their name. They used we'll actually bump this up a level. They actually used their D&D names that they used frequently as their online handles, because they are elite hardcore stuff. So yeah, that was dumb.
Local. Okay, moving on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Lol.
leveled the playing field with that one.
Well, I want to tell you
Lol.
something somebody told me one time. A buddy of mine, okay, I shouldn't neglect to mention he was really high when he told me this. He says, dude, I know that God loves weed. I said, how do you know that? He goes, dude, it's obvious. I said, how is it obvious? He says, why do you think that he gave you blank pages in the back of the little Bibles? And, I mean, I don't really talk to him much anymore, but maybe
You should.
there's
You should.
Well,
He's a
only-
very
only
wise
on
man.
Only on
Huh?
conjugal visits.
You should. He's a
Oh,
very
wow.
wise man.
Well, yeah, fine, whatever, motherfucker. I see what you're trying to do right there.
It's harder to talk to someone regularly when you have to schedule a conjugal visit.
I know it's terrible. It really
I
is.
just kept imagining somebody getting high in a confessional booth.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's all that came to
did
mind.
this, and that's
That
not
and the
right.
song "Smoking in the Boys' Room" came to mind too.
Continuing on.
Yeah. Have
That's-
any more mail, or are we're gonna?
No, that's all the mail we have right now for the cunt bag, which was brought to us by RazörFist Razor Bits, apple flavored Razor Bit, because it's a dead party right in your mouth.
Yeah.
So we'll have more mail during halftime for the Hate-Bit ball bag. But now, got breaking news, big news, something that's been going on, and the developments are developing, and I, Yellkaos of the Hate-Bit podcast, would like to state openly right here on the air. Now, This is an article right here, penned by me, that I have titled "I fucking hate Geoff Keighley." But I want to share with all the haters out there. You know, I dropped something on our Facebook a little while back after watching an interview with Geoff Keighley, and I want you to know, from me to you, I wholeheartedly endorse such practices as I don't really know. I don't know Geoff Keighley personally. In fact, I've only recently become aware of his work and what it is that he does, but I really want to knock his fucking teeth out all over his mother's clean kitchen floor. I really want this fucking guy to die slowly. And when I say slowly, I mean over the course of several weeks. I fucking hate this little fairy, and if anybody needs a jackknife power bomb into a not so giving floor, this is the cat. Fuck this guy. This motherfucker made me like Reggie Fils-Aimé. That's how much I hate this cat. He made me like Reggie Fils-Aimé.
Oh no.
Anyway,
I don't know if you need to
you
punch
hate
him.
Geoff Keighley.
Like I said, I've never known that somebody could have two lazy eyes before I saw Geoff Keighley for the first time. Like, what the fuck is going on with his vision?
He's talking to everyone's boobs.
Oh god. Yes.
Oh man, and he always sounds so enthused, doesn't he? He's always, "Hey guys, welcome to the bonus round." You know what I
It
mean?
always seems like he just got done taking a fucking bong rip out of a gas mask. Just
It always seems like he toked up a storm and then drank the bong water. Like,
yeah, I was like, wait, we're doing a television show? Oh. I
Like
better ask a bunch of questions really fast that'll never get any answers because I don't allow anyone any time to answer me.
it's true. Wow.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, oh.
Oh.
And then after,
I just, have you seen the way this cat dresses and he has the nerve to think he's cooler than anybody else?
what do you mean having a popped collar? Oh, hey guys, I'm wearing a dress shirt, but it's popped open. It's classy casual, is what it is. Like, what
This
the
is-
fuck?
It's 1970s hanging out burger meat.
Like, what are you, like, who the fuck dresses like Rick Astley in 2012? Like, what the
This guy.
motherfucker? It's like they shot some electrodes into an AIDS germ and out came fucking Geoff Keighley. I don't know what the fuck is going on
Yeah,
here.
like, is he the guy that's behind the whole, yeah, we need an LL Bean game for the Xbox 360?
This guy, I mean,
I'm not sure.
and then of course, for anyone who ever saw the meeting of the minds with Geoff Keighley and Angry Joe at the 2010 Video Game Awards, I believe it was the
Please tell us
2010.
all about it.
I forget, but it's a train wreck.
It was one where
Yeah.
he got so excited. I got an interview. Who's this jackass? Who's talking to me with this stupid microphone that
He's
absolutely
like,
makes
I have
fibbly sense whatsoever.
Did you bring a
20,000
bean?
subscribers. So yeah, Angry Joe, he basically scores an exclusive interview with Geoff Keighley, which, you know, what it probably happened is he shot him an email and he was like, I have 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. I'm important. Have an interview with me. And of course, in his mind, you know, Geoff Keighley agrees. He's like, whatever. If I have time on the red carpet, we can talk. You know, in Angry Joe's mind, he was thinking, oh, God, I've got an exclusive Algonquin roundtable with Geoff Keighley. Like, this is going to be great. I'm going to be Barbara Walters. You know, like, this is just... And so he gets there, and he thinks that Geoff Keighley's being dismissive, which of course he is, because look who he's fucking talking to. But he nails him on the MMO category. He says there should be an MMO category at the video game, you know, awards or whatever. And, you know, he's got a legit argument there. But then his impetus for doing so is he says that Final Fantasy XIV came out that year. To which, and by the way, he didn't even say Final Fantasy XIV because Angry Joe, that's the kind of research that cat does. He didn't even know that 14 was the name of the game. He just said Final Fantasy. And Geoff Keighley was like, wait, a Final Fantasy game came out this year? And Angry Joe says, oh, you're right. It didn't come out this year. Like, what just happened? Like,
Yeah.
neither of them knew that Final Fantasy XIV, it was like the biggest abortion the entire year. And neither of them knew it came out. Like, oh my God, I can't live in this world anymore.
Well, they could claim they were, repressing memories. I know I did.
Yeah, and I think RazörFist is already second aneurysm of this episode.
Oh yeah, no, he's got that big bulgy vein right there in his neck.
Oh, that's big. That's what she said. Hey! I had to throw that out.
I can't believe that made it to the other side of the pond. God help us. Anyway, yeah, Geoff Keighley. I really want someone to put bamboo shoots under his fingernails, and hit him with a car, really slowly, over and again.
I would like for him to be run over by a tank over the course of 10 hours.
No, wait. I would like him to be bound, his feet bound to his legs, rolled down a escalator going up.
This is getting really kinky and specific. This is really getting freaky here.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna leave it at escalator.
I would really like for him to be wearing a schoolgirl outfit and sucking a lollipop. What? No. Like.
Hey, wait. You went there. I didn't.
The real question is, where is the lollipop?
Lollipop,
The better question is, what brand of eyeliner is he wearing?
lollipop.
The sooner we know that, the better off we'll be. Anyway, I hate Geoff Keighley, and so should you.
I think we all do now after this little
All
section.
right, I'm probably going to jail after saying that, but hey, what are you gonna do?
It's okay. Just don't drop the soap.
No, I'll try my best. News, big news. Sony severs ties with Lightbox Studios and returns later that afternoon to destroy them. RazörFist, I'm going to throw it at you one more time. What the fuck happened?
Basically, well, shit. I mean, let's just run it down. Because this started actually not on. Obviously, Lightbox Studios are the creators of Starhawk,
I'm
which
Warhawk.
came out recently.
I'm Warhawk.
The killer app for the PS3. So Sony purchases Incognito Entertainment. Incognito develops Warhawk, right, the predecessor, which at the time everyone thought was be the elusive first killer app for the PS3. Warhawk goes up like the fucking Hindenburg, and immediately then Sony dissolves Incognito Games. Sound familiar?
Mm-hmm.
They then use the leftovers to create Lightbox Studios, who immediately set out to make a sequel to the abject abortion that was Warhawk. Then, and this is what drove me crazy, they call attention to its spiritual sequel status by naming the fucking thing Starhawk. Okay? So, and we all know how the story ends. Starhawk ultimately made Warhawk look like a fucking success story by comparison. So what does Sony do? They cremate the fuck out of Lightbox Studios and terminate their exclusivity agreement. And now they have laid off 75% of their staff. And I don't know. This is exactly why I detest Sony. I hate to go off on a rant here, but like,
No, you don't.
I'm just waiting for the moment when people are going to say, when is Sensei Magnus going to say something stupid about
No
Sony?
one says that. No one ever says
Oh,
that.
yes,
You're
they
lying
do.
to
Yes,
yourself.
they do. I've read the comments.
But this is exactly why.
Then you should know they hate you.
So, fuck them. And Sony 2 at the moment.
Mr.
Yes.
Fist, please give us the hatred, please.
I think the reason why I hate Sony so much, ultimately, this is one of the main reasons, is because if you're a developer who works exclusively as like a first-party Sony developer, then okay, best possible scenario, you wind up making games that sell well, but would have sold over twice as well if they'd been available across all platforms, right? And worst case scenario, they stick you making first-party Vita titles that 2 fucking people will buy, and when the game inevitably flops, you're dead! They reshuffle you into another sweatshop development studio hawking shitty PSP titles in fucking developmental purgatory. I mean,
like
even the most... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just like Rare.
Exactly, and that's what I'm also making that point. Even the most successful first-party developers, both for Microsoft and Sony, like Naughty Dog, for example, they wind up with half the profits they would have secured otherwise. Naughty Dog could be bigger than Movie Bob's Twinkie budget, like Treyarch fucking huge, but Sony keeps that shit on a short leash. I'm not saying Microsoft hasn't done it, like I said. In fact, I'm actually saying the exact opposite. Microsoft absolutely has. But the difference is, Sony was doing it before Microsoft even had a fucking console on the market. Sony's been locking talented developers into exclusive deals that invariably benefit exactly one entity, and that entity is Sony. So that's my real problem.
It's more business practices, which in recent months has actually it's shook my support for Sony.
It's just, it's hard to look at this situation and think like, oh, okay, they got a fair shake. You know what I mean? Like they had to make Warhawk. Sony told them to make Warhawk, and then they're like, well, that was a piece of shit. Later, guys. And they were like, okay, now make Starhawk. And when that was a piece of shit, now they do the same thing. It's like you got to feel for the developers in this case.
Yeah.
You know, and some people like Starhawk. I don't know. I've heard good things about it, surprisingly. But
Yeah, it was really great once you loosen your pants.
Yeah, once you realise it's download.
But yeah, well, that's good to know, RazörFist. We know that you hate, and that's important.
I rant
Anyway,
where I am.
yes, there you go. Sainted Magnus, you had something to say about the new PlayStation Store. It's having a bit of an identity crisis, you say?
Well, I think, Sony, as we all know, with their infinite wisdom, decided that they'd go and copy Microsoft with their download store. The new PlayStation Network store is now rebranded as Xbox Live Arcade Store because it looks fucking exactly the same.
Ironically, at the exact same time that Xbox Live updated and changed their look,
There we go.
which is hilarious.
So yeah,
Hilarious.
so Sony Xbox 363 are all
The PS360.
the PS363. Yeah, these it seems to be having an identity crisis at the moment.
What is this about the Mazda 626?
Since when did we get into cars?
I don't know. I just heard a bunch of numbers, and please go on.
Subtle hint. Sorry, new phrase. Touch it out. Yeah, so one example of the whole stupidity behind this is, as we know, there's Netflix on consoles, right? It's what, £6 a month in the UK, whatever it is in the US, what, $8, something like that. And they've got like Red Dwarf, they've got Top Gear, they've got Doctor Who, and all the regional shows in there. They've also got what, Homeland and other things like that that have been pretty big. And you can watch them whenever you want. So Sony thought it'd be a good idea. We want a piece of that. So they've got exactly the same content. So take Red Dwarf, for example. They've got the first 8 seasons, and they've decided that they're going to charge you for every single individual fucking episode at what say £1.20 an episode.
Boy, that sounds really familiar.
Yes, it does. It sounds like an EA practice.
It sounds like 360 actually.
Sounds like
is what
360 as well, yes. So you paying like £7 just to watch one season of Red Dwarf, when you could pay £6 and watch all 8 seasons of Red Dwarf.
Yeah, but the real price is that you have to watch Red Dwarf. Oh, I'm just fucking with you. Sorry, I just wanted to be a dick. But
It's okay. You do that. You do a good enough job of that off camera, and off camera, and in your car,
yeah,
and on the street, and looking at yourself in the mirror whilst putting the RazörFist eyeliner on.
you got to have goals.
Oh yes, but the whole premise of this new store I just don't get the point. I just don't see the point. The old one was just fine, and they say, "Oh, we've improved the search and we've made it user friendly." Bollocks, you have. A friend of mine was looking for Tekken DLC for Tekken Tag 2. Could he find it? Not without going through the exclusives tab.
Ugh.
You couldn't actually physically search for it because it just wouldn't come up.
Good times.
Yeah, so I, for one, have no faith in this new marketplace, and I would like the option to go back to the old one because I think the old one worked a lot better than this one does. It didn't work as good as what they hope it will do, but what the hell.
And a lot of people are calling them on their bullshit too, because keep in mind that a lot of people have fucking tagged Sony for pretty much playing Me Too games whenever it came to the PlayStation brand. And with this update and the cosmetic change to the store, the PSN store is now just, the PlayStation/dashboard.
PlayStation
It-
dashboard.
Yeah, it's just ironic that they decided to go with the change, and they're trying to emulate the Microsoft store, which I don't really understand why, because it's not like that's, the do-all, end-all store, so we have to look and be just like this one. It's like, why don't you just listen to what the fuck everybody's been bitching about, and try to work from there? But I guess that would take, I don't know, maybe a team of 3 or 4 people to scour forums and to go online and to read fucking complaints and to read people's ideas that have been tossed out there, free of charge, no less, of how to make the user experience that much better. And they don't do that. I mean, fuck, there was recently, before they did the update and everything, there was a game I was trying to get for the Sega Genesis collection. It's Monster World 4. And it took me forever to fucking find the game, and it's a recent game that they put on there. And I only want to get it because if you have a PlayStation Plus account, you can get the game for $1. And I've never had the opportunity to play the game. And I was like, shit, $1. And it took me forever to find the fucking game. I ended up having to use their actual search field to do it. I was like, newest titles? Oh, it's not in there. I'll go under PlayStation Plus because it ought to pop up under there, right? Nope. Nothing pops up under there. It was just like a big convoluted fucking mess. And it's like that for a bunch of the things that they have on there. Now they want to make it like the dashboard. Oh, super idea. Again, Sony, I fucking applaud you. You and your fucking magical ways about just, I don't know, fucking people over. So, hip hip hooray.
It makes me, well, the way it's laid out, it makes you just want to get up and actually put your finger on your screen and go, because it's just like a fucking tablet.
Yeah.
Why does everything have to be fucking tiles?
Because everyone is stupid.
If I want your tiles, I'll go in my fucking bathroom. Jesus.
I don't know. Maybe they designed it with the Vita in mind and not the PlayStation 3 itself.
Even the Vita's fucking store's not great. Oh, and just for the record, I don't have a Vita anymore.
Really?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sold it to some sucker.
Oh, I thought I felt a disturbance in the force.
No,
Yeah.
that was the burrito you had last week.
Oh,
Oh, damn it.
it was definitely
Well, they do have-
disturbing. Know that.
Yeah, and speaking of Sony, while we're still on Sony, what's the fucking deal with this fucking 16 seconds of fucking advertising?
It's big news.
My.
What are they trying to do? They're trying to turn themselves into Microsoft totally and putting ads on everything? Yeah, pay $40. Here you go. Have a fucking advert. Oh, thanks.
Sounds like RazörFist's sense of well-being just imploded.
I think he's losing the will to live,
Losing. Yeah.
as in lost. Okay.
But are you talking about that 16-second fucking
Yeah.
bullshit viral?
I think
marketing?
he's Michael 2, the sequel.
Alpha? What do you think it's advertising?
One, I think that it really is just going to be PlayStation All-Stars. But, I mean, the thing that I can't wrap my head around is why major websites are calling this news. They
exactly.
show off...
Why is
It's a-
IGN having a series of articles on this?
IGN are getting
a
desperate.
series. That's what's fucked up. I mean, okay, look. The fact is that when we're looking up news and everything, we're like, oh, it's kind of slow. All right, let's find some other stuff that we can go and talk about and whatnot. But in no fucking way could we sit there and be like, man, this is headline news. Let's talk about this. Everybody, talk about a 15-second fucking piece of bullshit. Yeah, that's gonna. What are we getting out of this? A 15-second teaser of an upcoming maybe commercial for an upcoming game. You're fucking kidding me, right?
Just give us the fucking commercial, Sony.
Is it safe to say? Is it safe to say at this point that the most substantive creation generated by Sony Electronics, aside from excuses as to why they're no longer fucking profitable, are the ceaseless procession of vapid, gimmicky advertisements they've cranked out over the past 6 years?
I'm just waiting for the fucking advertisements to come out for Sony Smash Brothers. But that's
Ground control to Major Kazurai. Cut your fucking losses and turn Sony into an advertising agency already. Yeah.
Oh, and another piece of advice.
shut the fuck
Quit-
up. Basically.
Well, just quit running plays out of the Sega playbook.
Oh.
Well, no. See, if they were
You
doing
go
that,
ask
their
them about that.
commercials
They'll
would be
see how
interesting.
successful that model was.
Hey, Sega had good commercials. Sony has a lot of really weird commercials. Like, do you remember when PS3 was brand new and they were putting out those? It was just like artsy fartsy commercials that made next to no goddamn sense, and you wouldn't realize that it was a PlayStation 3 commercial, except for it says PS3 at the end, or it might show a glimpse of the actual console sitting in a big white room with shit floating around it for no reason.
Well,
Man,
you
that
know,
makes me buy the console.
well, you're describing a Sega Saturn advertisement too.
Sega Saturn, Sega
Didn't they do that with the
Saturn,
GameCube? Yeah.
Sega Saturn.
Just allow me to state once more, for the purposes of public record, that I outright fucking abhor viral marketing in all its manifestations. And I think we all do. Do we not?
Well, yes.
I mean,
think
can you think... Now, like...
he loves it.
I mean,
really.
remember the Cloverfield mystery website back in the day? And I remember working in a comic shop, the Joker cards that viral marketeering shitheels left in major comic chains during the build-up to The Dark Knight. Look, if you're in viral marketing, I want you to perk your ears and pucker your fucking anus, okay? You are a cancerous boil on the testicle of the human race. Don't consider suicide. Just make it happen. Okay. And the fans are the real problem. Like, they're actually sitting here poring over every pixel of these fucking articles and these fucking videos and go, ooh, the lamp flickering out means someone must have used EP. So maybe it's that boring bald fuckwad from Infamous. No, motherfucker, you have too much goddamn time on your hands, and Sony isn't paying you. So why in the fuck are you doing their job for them? Now, fuck this shit. Okay, I'm not going to sit here deciphering Kazurai's marketing table scraps, spinning my plastic wheel like a human fucking gerbil, okay? And you shouldn't either. So whatever the fuck Sony was trying to advertise, you can officially put me down as not fucking interested. As far as I'm concerned, it's been permanently replaced in my memory banks with a commercial for, I don't know, fucking Ovaltine or something. Fuck viral marketing. All right?
And fuck Ovaltine while we're at it.
He's RazörFist, God fucking speed. There we go.
Bosco!
It does make sense though. It's one of it generates fucking interest for all the wrong reasons. That's one of the reasons why I fucking hate the way that they're going about it. Like, if you really want to capture my attention, just make a good fucking game or make a funny commercial. Like, if you could make a half decent commercial instead of one with like insert random AC/DC song, and then just play clips from the fucking game in slow motion and whatnot, and then just end with whatever the fucking street release is for it. Way to fucking go, champ. But with shit like this is even worse, because it's like, all right, well, we're going to have a teaser for something, and then everybody's going to be like, oh, I bet it's going to be this, I bet it's going to be this. And everybody's always trying to figure out what it's going to be, and it's never anything interesting. It's always something that's been previewed to fucking hell and back. It's never some exciting reveal, because they've already showed off all their shit at all the major conventions and everything, so you're not going to be shocked or awed. So why the fuck do you even care, people? Why? It makes no fucking sense. Like, it's just fucking hell, man.
It's they're treating us like fucking. That's what I don't like. It's condescending. It assumes.
It's also inefficient.
It's almost insulting, to be fair.
It is insulting. It's like getting news, comparing getting news from a close friend or getting news of an incident from your dog. It's a bunch of loud noise. Hey, what? There's a thing. Well, what about it? It's here.
Yeah, and the worst part about it is, like I said, it kind of works because people will legitimately pour over this shit and wonder what it is, and they're like,
and they did, dude. Did you read the comments section on those fucking editorials? It was just like, you got to be fucking kidding me! You people are actually arguing about what something in the background on a wall might mean. Like, Or what the
What do we-
fuck,
what do we
man?
have,
Like,
like,
I hope you're getting your fucking hose fucking sucked on a little bit while this is happening. Because
I'm
there's
hoping,
no
like-
reason you should be dedicating this much time, effort, or fucking thought to it. Like, your brain should be better spent doing anything else right now.
Like what do we have? Like 18% unemployment in this country? What are we you could be out like you could be out getting a job. Like you could be out
That
doing-
depends heavily on what news network you listen to or watch.
Fair enough.
It's
But, I
questionable.
mean, the point is that this is like one of the most tried and true fucking gimmicks that big companies have been doing for years to go and generate interest in something with mystery. Oh, like wave your hands around and just call it illusion and shit. Okay, because it's only going to cater to fucking retards that are expecting a surprise, and they're never gonna fucking get one. Okay, in that box, it's not a fucking mystery. It's face rape. That's what it's going to be. You're gonna get face rape, and even you were told ahead of time that it was gonna be face rape, but you're like, but it could be something else, like cake. No, it's not cake. It's not yummy cake. You are not gonna get red velvet fucking cake with vanilla fucking icing. No, it's face rape. Okay, and there is
Face
no
rape, 3D.
Yeah, and we're not going to put vanilla icing on the face rape. No, it's just straight up motherfucking face rape. So
In high def.
Get used to it. Knock the fucking teeth out. Make the whole experience a little bit easier to go and gum down.
There you go. High def, face rape, 3D.
In HD. And,
HD.
And, yeah, 3D in a theater coming to you at some point. in
Yeah,
future.
there's one point. Available in IMAX.
Yeah, so Sony, fucking get a grip. Stop giving us all these stupid viral ads. If you're going to hook a product, just give us 1 2-minute advert telling us this is what we're doing, this is what's going to be done with it. Simple as that.
Do you ever get the idea, though, that maybe they do this viral marketing because this is all they can afford?
Well, I think
No, because it looks like a pretty high budget. It looks like a pretty high budget advertisement, but they're just
True, but
releasing it.
TV time is is not cheap these days.
it's Michael
Yeah.
too. I just said it. It's Michael too.
Yeah, that's essentially what they're trying to do is play off the success of that. I mean, if you really want to grab my attention, I don't know, make a commercial like the Super Smash Brothers commercial way back in the day where all the Nintendo mascots were skipping through a field and then beat the shit out of each other. You'll have
Or-
my attention immediately because that shit was fucking funny and really awesome and made me damn happy. But if you do shit like this, not only am I going to ignore you and not be interested when you do finally reveal it, I'll just go, I told you so, and then go on with my fucking day of beating off to really wicked, awful porn.
I'm just waiting for the days where I go, I told you so. Not interested.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I told you so while holding my fucking meat log in my right hand. And if I decide to go and get crazy, I get ambidextrous and start using both.
Or you sit on it and call it the stranger, right?
Oh no, I don't do that. I actually I dial a random number and say, "Are you busy?"
See, you know what? People talk about you all the time, and I say, Alpha Omega Sin, you have no dedication.
I'm sorry.
You are not dedicated to your masturbatory practice.
I'm sorry. I'm lazy, I guess. That
Okay,
would be
well,
my-
as long
my
as
best
you're
reasoning.
honest. Well, that's what I appreciate most about you is your honesty.
Thank you.
And I'm also baffled just thinking about what your concept of really horrible pornography is, because I've talked to you at great length, and the shit you say in casual conversation is rather horrifying.
Well, just remember the stuff that I was talking about. Well, we'll talk about in the next item that we advertise. We'll give you a good idea of what I'm into.
Oh, good. That means that it's time for halftime, isn't it?
Already, I'm sure we got something.
It's already time. We have to plug another product, and this one is
Shameless
oh.
plug.
coming soon to a theater near you. Face Rape 3D IMAX. Let me see here.
Not to be
What else?
confused with the new Silent Hill movie.
No. Fabulous, classy stuff. While we got a free moment here, a little time to just chat and free. Let me get all the mail up here in front of me. Alpha Omega Sin, have you been watching some horror movies at your place?
I've been watching an absurd amount. I've been doing
you have-
marathons almost daily.
Really? What you been doing recently?
Let's see. What was the last couple that I ended up watching? Day of the Dead and the original Night of Living Dead, because I had another George Romero. I had a George Romero night where I watched Dawn of the Dead and the Night of Living Dead remake. So, and I know Day of the Dead isn't a Romero film, but still, was trying to keep with the whole zombie theme, or not
Of
Day of the Dead, Return of the Living Dead. Sorry, that's
Yeah.
what I meant to say. Day of the Dead is a Romero film, but and it'd be very, very shitty of me to go and mess up something Romero related, since he's a hometown hero. Whoa!
Is he really?
Yeah, it's a Pittsburghian. Him and
Yeah. I think he's
believe-
also like the most screwed over director of any director in American history.
Yeah, he's unfortunately just he deserves a lot more credit than he's got, but at the very least, he has a faithful fan following that's relatively underground, I guess, and faithful. So that much he has working in his favor. But
True, but you are aware that apparently he has not made anything in royalties for the original Night of the Living Dead ever.
I'm not too surprised because you can find that anywhere and everywhere. Like I remember seeing it on like if you look it up on DVD, there's like a billion different versions of it, and I'm not talking like, oh, this one's a director's cut, this one's a limited edition. No, I mean like it's distributed by a bunch of different people. On top of that, you can find it on YouTube for free as an official upload. Like you can find it
because it's in
anywhere
the
and
public
everywhere.
domain. It's in public domain.
That's just fucking crazy to think
When
about. I don't know, but
the story goes when they were going to copyright the film, somebody filled out the paperwork wrong, and apparently it was only to last until the end of the year. The movie, I think, was released in November. Anyway, the year came, the copyright expired, and the movie immediately slipped into the public domain, and he has never made a dime. That's
Well,
why you find it everywhere. This is a really depressing story.
yeah, I was gonna say watch the remake of Night of the Living Dead because that one's really good. Normally I don't like remakes.
I've only seen chunks of it, and I don't know why. The color thing bothers me.
It's I mean,
Chunk.
dude, the dude that plays Ben is the same guy that played Candyman. That alone warrants a watch. Plus the makeup effects in it are really well done because I mean, you know, the original was like fucking forever ago in black and white and shit. But this one, you know, they've got some good makeup scenes for the zombies and everything, especially the close-up shots. But yeah, it's just I don't know. It's really really good. And considering the fact that Romero and Savini were both working on it, you know that it's not just a random fucking a cash grab or something like that. It's pretty damn faithful to the original and builds upon it. So it gets my approval. Yeah.
It gets the Alpha Omega approval.
You know, it's funny you brought up Romero and Savini because you know what's been going on at my house this week? We've been doing Creepshow. We did Creepshow and Creepshow
Nice.
2 the other night. And I know Creepshow 2 is a little more loose, you know, but Creepshow, you know, Tom Savini, George Romero with the writing of Stephen King. You can't go wrong.
No, that's
During the month of
that's
October.
one of the best. I've been watching that since I was little, and I still remember having the Fangoria magazines that were showing off some of
Yeah.
the stuff on how they did certain scenes and everything, and it was very cool behind the scenes making stuff. But it was those are fantastic movies. But I implore everybody to see the first two if you have not. But if you see the third movie, the third Creepshow, avoid it like a fucking plague, please, by all means. And don't watch it because it's like, oh, I bet it's so bad it's good. No, it's so bad that you'll go, wow, I wasted like 2 hours of my life. Why did I not heed his warning?
You will contemplate suicide.
Yeah, you'll contemplate suicide by cracking the fucking DVD in half and jamming it into your throat. So just don't. Trust
There
me.
you go.
Lovely.
And, you know, before we move on, I just wanted to say, Alpha Omega, you've not seen Creepshow recently?
Fuck. It's been a really long time. I think
Well,
that
I
legitimately
tell
the
you
last
what.
time I watched it was on VHS.
Oh, well, that's a while back. But you know, Leslie Nielsen was in that movie.
Oh yeah, dude,
Yeah.
he's got one of the best scenes, just him flipping out at the
Exactly.
at the beach and everything. I
Just
can't
talking
give
to
too much
Ted
away.
Danson. Yeah, I want to say this. Honestly, from me to the entire audience, I want to say he scares. I never thought that Leslie Nielsen, you know, Mr. Magoo, would scare the fucking shit out of me, but he does it quite well. So if you want your shit out of you and onto the floor, Leslie Nielsen in Creepshow.
So
Yeah.
what about RazörFist? What have you been watching anything horror related, or are you saving it all for Halloween?
I don't really like horror movies. I actually don't really like movies that much.
Oh, fair enough.
So
Unless they have biceps and machine guns.
Well, I was gonna say, is there a horror movie that you do like that you can think
Rock and Roll Nightmare. No, I do like that.
of? But that's
I
a
do
different
like that
kind of
movie an
horror
awful
movie.
lot. That is a good horror movie. But I love Puppet Master 3. I love. That's definitely one of my favorites ever.
You gotta
I
love Poltergeist.
I love Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors because
Because Dawkins, right?
because Dawkins. And and also Friday the 13th, was it part 6 with Alice Cooper? Sorry,
Yeah,
got
that's
it.
part
Yeah.
6. The Man Behind the Mask, dude. That's one of the best fucking tunes ever.
Yo with your baby. Oh, yeah.
And they actually played that song in the movie, which I didn't catch that until this year, which is fucking crazy. Whenever they first pull up in the truck, that's what's playing the entire time when they're unloading it. And I was like, wow, that's fucking awesome. But it's played so low, it's easy to overlook.
Yeah. So I like that. I'm not a big horror guy at all.
Oh,
Hey, at the very least, you have very good picks, so that makes me happy. And and one random thing, I've been dying to get a hold of one of the Blade dolls from Puppet Master, like the
Yes.
legitimate ones. I think it's Full Moon Productions or Full Moon Toys, something like that. But they have a relatively large, full-scale Blade toy. And Blade's for anybody who hasn't seen it, he's the one wearing the black trench coat, the hat, and he has a hook and knife for a hand. But and he's got blood on him. And every time I see it, I'm like, man, that's awesome. But on eBay, they're like over $100 a pop, and I'm like, nah. And I saw one recently at this one store. It's been there forever for like $75, and I'm still really considering it. I think it's a lot of money to throw down for something like that, but I've wanted it for fucking years now. But it's pretty damn cool looking. So yeah, Puppet Master, major fucking horror hard on,
For that kind of cash, that goddamn thing better fix you a fucking sandwich.
or at least cut it for you. That'd be nice.
that's true.
There you go. He's got the hook. He could catch you a fish.
It makes me wonder if the knife on there is sharp. If it's not, I'd actually sharpen it and everything in case somebody like fucks with me while I'm holding it. I'd be like, ha, my stabbing knife.
It'll be funny when we come into the podcast and we hear this scraping in the background. It's only
What are you
Alpha,
doing, Alpha
what's
Vegas?
doing?
I'm getting ready. Those
Preparing
goddamn
for-
kids think they're gonna laugh at me this year. Ha ha.
Yeah, and as for me, I'm going to be quick with this. I'm going sci-fi horrors, so it's going to be
So
Alien.
like school reunion.
Yeah.
It's going to be Alien. It's going to be The Thing. It's going to be.
Event Horizon.
Oh yes, most definitely. I love that film. One of
Pretty good
You know,
movie.
you
Yeah, I
should
should have
watch
thrown Alien out there. Why the
yeah,
fuck?
Aliens. Well, I think
If you're gonna
Alien.
watch something
Alien-
else-
Hey, Aliens is not a horror movie.
Alien 3 was good though, because that, if you think about it, they're trapped and they're on their own and they've no weapons of.
Yeah, at least it was a little bit more of a tension kind of horror thing. But yeah, Aliens is more of an action flick. Thanks, James
Yeah.
Cameron.
It's all right.
Well, that's what he does. I don't think he has
Say,
anything else. Well, he knows how to, you know.
If you
if
want a James Cameron horror movie, just watch Titanic.
Oh.
Well, there
or
was that.
Avatar.
All right. Oh, Avatar's just blue monkey porn. Did I not tell you that?
Blue monkey porn.
With knives.
Oh come on! There's more fucking side boob in that than there is in the fucking Victoria's Secrets catalogue.
Well, that's good to know.
I was gonna say, saying it. If you're gonna watch The Thing, check out a movie called Leviathan. It's
Right.
really,
Oh.
really, really good. It's just like it, except for instead of being in the middle of nothingness, they're down at the very bottom of the ocean. So it's a very, very good movie. And for everybody listening, you should check it out. Seriously, it's pretty bitchin'.
Yeah, so that's Leviathan.
Yes. It's just
You
a
know,
thing
we-
underwater.
I
But
need-
it's
We don't-
really
we
good.
don't
I
get
like
paid
it.
enough for this. We really don't.
That's true.
Anyway, pardon me.
Clear your throat.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, see, classy shit right here on the Hate-Bit podcast.
now you
We
sound
got
like a classy Brit. Now you sound like
We
a
got
classy
this
Brit.
mail coming to us. Oh, I forgot to mention. Here is the Hate-Bit ball bag, which is this week brought to us by the Hate-Bit podcast. Make your own slag kit. Now, right here it says image not available. So I don't really know what's in the make your own slag kit. We had our own guesstimations. We said, what did we say? A glad bag and
Glad
pantyhose?
bag,
Sulfuric
A
acid.
hammer. Oh, chloroform.
chloroform.
Yeah,
Oh,
chloroform.
stirrups.
A hammer.
A hammer. Yeah.
Stirrups.
least that's-
chaps.
Assless chaps, that's right.
Absolutely.
Stirrups.
Stirrups. God, you must like stirrups.
Well, we have to.
Oh, and don't forget knee pads.
No, that'd be part of the deluxe bundle.
Oh well, yeah, that's for when you actually give a damn about keeping the slag in order and
Yeah.
making it presentable.
Yeah,
So
that
then you get
version actually comes in with a pack-in game called Slagland, and it teaches you how to be a slag over a 12-step process.
Oh wait,
They call
what
them
am I thinking? Okay, we don't actually need knee pads. We just need bundled up plastic bags and duct tape. There we go. Right.
There we go.
There you go. That sounds good to me.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
here's one that we could think of. Oh shit, it's just gone. It's just
If
gone.
you have your own suggestions for what should be in the Hate-Bit Podcast Make Your Own Slag Kit, please drop us a line at hatebitpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got a piece of mail, and the hatebitpodcast@gmail.com comes to us from, our good friend Robert Sanders.
Hello.
And Robert says, hate. He goes on to say, my question is about cartoons. What are some of your all-time favorite cartoons? I like the old Hanna-Barbera cartoons, such as Johnny Quest and Huckleberry Hound. My all-time favorites are Two Stupid Dogs, Johnny Bravo, and Powerpuff Girls. Watch Boomerang for decent cartoons, and fuck the Snorks. You know what? I want to announce that we're going to have a contest here pretty soon. We're going to be searching for the best possible Hate-Bit Podcast letter. The one that makes us laugh the hardest will receive the very first Hate-Bit Podcast t-shirt when they're released later this year or early next year.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so and
This
see,
is
everyone's like, "Oh, he's saying this shit. It's going to cost us money, isn't it?" Fuck.
Fuck. Now we're
Yeah.
gonna have to do things.
No. We're gonna close the loopholes in the tax thing, and it'll pay for itself. I promise.
Right on. Cartoons. I would go with. I'm sorry. X-Men. God damn it.
the original
And-
90s one or the silly new ones that have been
You're
made.
goddamn right. It's the '90s one.
Awesome.
Fucking X-Men Evolution can take a long walk off a short cliff,
Yes.
and
Yes.
How about we just
Hey-
do this and forget it?
I would, of course, Batman the Animated Series, sans all the Batman and all the terrible new Brave and the Bold can go fuck himself, and so many bad new shows. And I loved the '90s. It only lasted like one season because nobody watched it because nobody knew it was on. The Silver Surfer cartoon was really awesome in the '90s.
I didn't even know there was a Silver Surfer cartoon.
It was badass. And then if I want to go on the anime front, I love Record of Lodos War. Who is rolling a joint? Would you just...
Insane it is.
I don't smoke.
You're rolling something, sir.
Yeah.
No, because he's 100 years old in English, he's having a Werther's original butterscotch.
Yeah.
Speaking of candy, I've got some candy here, so I'm just munching on it.
Little Werthers. No.
Yeah, right after you. Never mind.
On the anime front, I would go with, Record of Lodos War, probably. And that would fill the tank for me. Oh, yeah, Ronin Warriors. Ronin Warriors! Come on, bitch. But yeah.
Alpha, I have a feeling you're ready to blow. Go for it.
Oh, there's so many fucking cartoons that I still watch a
We're
shit
gonna
ton of
drown in
cartoons.
spooge.
Let's see. Well, Razor mentioned Batman the Animated Series. I put that at the top of the list of shit stomping cartoons because it blurred the lines in a lot of ways for a lot of kids because it was something that was adult themed in a lot of ways. So adults could watch it without feeling retarded, like, oh man, this is really watered down kiddie stuff. Comic book fans could get into it because it was legitimate Batman stories and they're really well done. They
And you
fleshed
could say
out
the
characters
same
that
thing-
no one cared about.
You could kind of say the same thing for the adult blurring the lines thing for X-Men and Spider-Man as well. At least the first cartoons as well. I just think Batman was a little it took itself a little more seriously, and there was a little more of an kind of, I guess, an elegance to it. I guess it was sort of, they had that undefinable Art Deco art style that kind of they lifted from the Tim Burton films, and it has sort of a timeless quality to it. Whereas
It does.
Whereas the X-Men cartoon is very, very 90s X-Men.
Mm.
You know?
Well, the thing that was cool about actually, I should say that I have to go and say X-Men because if it wasn't for the '90s cartoon of X-Men, I wouldn't have picked up the comics at all.
Yeah.
That was one of the main reasons that I even got into it and why Wolverine became like my favorite Marvel character. Even though that's very cliche to say and everything, but he was just so fucking cool to me. And I
He's a
always
stud.
thought, man, it'd be cool if he just cut off fucking Cyclops' head because that dude's a fucking retard and I don't like him. But let's see.
He's a great big fag.
Trying to think. Other cartoons I liked a lot. One I had made a video about it, but one cartoon that I didn't get to mention in the video was the Beetlejuice cartoon from the '90s. I liked that a whole lot when I was growing up and thought it was really fucking cool, even though it didn't really resemble the movie whatsoever. But let's see, the old school Looney Tune cartoons they're fucking classic. You can't go wrong with them. Batman Beyond, which is awesome as shit. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. That's it unfortunately suffered early on because I mean it's not Bruce Wayne anymore being Batman, so people are like, "What the fuck? This is too
But
different."
Bruce was still played by Kevin Conroy, which was awesome.
Absolutely, and as a matter of fact, I liked old angry Batman. I mean, it wasn't like the Dark Knight Returns style where he's like as big as a fucking house and everything.
But
and
he's
has
just
fucking...
old and bitter.
Yeah, that's why I was like,
I
dude,
thought
that's
that was
fucking
great.
awesome. But let's see, the Justice League cartoon was really fucking
Oh
cool.
my
I
god!
liked
Oh my
that.
god! Oh my god! We're all forgetting. Holy fucking shit! Gargoyles.
What?
Gargoyles.
Dude,
God.
oh my god, I
Oh,
I have
man.
been
Disney's
talking about it
Gargoyles.
last ages.
Discussion.
Wow.
Best Disney cartoon, like in terms of TV shows ever. Period. Like
you think
just,
so? Really?
I also think the Mighty Ducks show is pretty good, actually, but that's just
That
me.
was that. I forgot about the Mighty Ducks show.
And
I
did Disney have a hand in this or not? But I got to throw this out there: Captain Simian and the Space Monkeys was
I've
the
never seen
fucking shit. It was like a sci-fi. It was like Star Wars, but with fucking monkeys. It's hard to explain, but yeah,
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I think
It was
so.
really good, actually.
I'm pretty sure it showed up on the Disney Channel once or twice. It didn't last
Yeah.
very long.
Yeah, it was really good.
Can I
Speaking of
can I
Disney,
chime in
one
now?
of their best things
Sure,
is
please
that-
help yourself.
Captain Bucky O'Hare.
That show
such-
sucked.
Oh, I loved it. Fuck off.
That show was designed to sell fucking children's toys, and you know it.
I know, but he had a catchy theme too.
It had a catchy as shit. You're right. We say Bucky. See, I'm all excited now.
Oh yes. Go.
no.
I want to stab at some Hanna-Barbera stuff. Wacky Races.
yeah. Oh,
that
Wacky
was
Race.
so fucking funny. I always wanted Dick Dastardly to win, but they'd always try and find some way to screw him over. I was like,
I know.
oh, you think he's gonna win,
But-
he's gonna win, and then he's like, no. I was like, no, jeez.
And then and then Muttley would go.
Yeah, you just sound like an asthmatic.
Well, as did he.
Yeah, I always liked and just the other show that Dick Dastardly was in, that was the Dick Dastardly and his flying machines or something.
What about Turtles, guys?
I ain't got there yet.
Oh.
Yeah, so way back
Well,
in the
in the show.
1950s, there.
Yeah, so Dick Dastardly was just fantastic. He was one of my favourite cartoon characters from Hanna-Barbera. Also, there was another one that everybody did mention, and that was the Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that one.
Heroes in a Half Shell.
Now you got the Hero Turtles, didn't you? You got
Yeah,
the
we were
bastard
screwed.
guys.
We were screwed because they thought ninjas were dangerous.
They thought ninjas were dangerous and racist. It's like, what? Like,
Both at the
ninjas
same
existed. Like, there's nothing racist about ninjas. They existed at one time. Like, what the fuck? But it's so fucking stupid. But yeah, I gotta say though, given a choice between the two cartoons, I kind of like the 2004 cartoon more. Actually, it's a little more faithful to the comic books. It's a little darker. They had some straight adaptations of some of the comic book, turtle stories,
Mhm.
and it was actually a lot better than the one that I remember. From it's one of those classic situations where for nostalgia's sake, fuck, I got all the Turtle seasons on DVD, but you gotta. I love Turtles at the end of the day, and I think the newer cartoon is actually a little better.
I think what I can say about that situation for me is that the 2004 series, both of them have their problems. That's, that's not a mystery. Everyone knows that. And
Yeah.
the way I look at it overall, the 2004 series takes itself far too seriously, and the I think it was the early 1980 or late 1980s series,
89.
just went on for far too long.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
stopped being funny like after the second season, like most classic cartoons in that era.
Spider-Man from 1996.
The real Ghostbusters sucked after Lorenzo Music left. I'm going to put that right on the table there.
Spider-Man, the 1996 cartoons. They were actually really good.
The 60s, the one from the 60s. That's
That was,
You all got to get on this. You all got to get on this bandwagon with me, Alpha. I know you're down for this. What about? I was just talking about the best Disney cartoon ever made. This one might be tied with Gargoyle's fucking Darkwing Duck.
well, I was going to go there next, man. That's a beautiful one.
Dude, Darkwing Duck. Oh my god, I'm trying to think of the song. It's like Darkwing Duck.
When there's trouble, you call DW.
Yes, that's it. I was like, man, it's something DW.
still a great series. Great cartoon.
And the one that preceded it, DuckTales, is really good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I have a confession to make. I actually had DuckTales Underoos.
Are you wearing it right now?
I can neither confirm nor deny that. So
I'm
turn on
I ain't telling you, basically.
Oh, dude, you know what? And another Disney classic, Chippendale motherfucking Rescue Rangers.
yes.
That cartoon.
Rescue Rangers.
Whenever I was watching that, like, do you guys remember? I don't know if you got the CDs at all, but at the grocery store, at the checkout lines where they have like the tabloid magazines and shit, they would have. I don't even know if they make it anymore, but it's called Disney Adventures magazine. It's real small.
Yeah.
I actually have quite a few of them in my comic collection. They had good comics at the back of them.
Yeah.
You'll have to do a video on them.
I fucking loved those, man. Like I had a
RazörFist, no be happy on camera ever.
No,
I mean,
I have one. I'm looking at it right now. I have one sitting on my desk that previewed the Ninja Turtles 3.
Oh god,
Ooh,
good time.
that's good toilet paper.
that poor magazine.
Hey, you know what's terrible?
Go on.
No, that's there you go.
Here, this is one that I can feel very nostalgic about and fucking remember watching with my mom. Very nice memory that I have with her. And she even had shirts of this. We had all sorts of stuff. But Beavis and Butthead.
Oh yeah.
I had watched that all the time. I had friends that their parents wouldn't let them watch Beavis and Butthead at all, but in my house, like religiously, we had that shit on. I mean, that was one of the reasons why I got into some of the music that I did, was seeing like the music videos. I mean, granted, they would make fun of it, except for like, a vast majority of the metal videos, but I mean, Beavis and Butthead it's just fucking Beavis and Butthead. It's retarded humor at its best, and Beavis and Butthead Do America, one of the most awesome animated movies ever created. I fucking love that.
What do you think about the relaunch?
Honestly, it's pretty damn funny. I have to say that
It is surprisingly good.
Dude, considering the fact that he took that long of a break, Mike Judge came in and he fucking like knocked out of the park as far as I was concerned. I'm not going to say, oh, it's like a million times better than the originals, but it's absolutely on par with it. It's just, I think it did him a lot of good because he could have possibly got burnt out while doing that shit, because there's only so much you can do at a time. And it was like, what, 15 fucking years since he had done Beavis and Butthead? And then finally got to jump back in the saddle. Like it was pretty cool to see the comeback. The downside, it's on MTV, so
yeah. But you can tell that show is written by a bitter, almost middle-aged man. I mean, it's just like, it's like, yeah, everything that sucked in the 90s sucked, and it sucks now, and for some reason it's repeating itself, and I hate that.
Yeah,
it's not repeating itself. The 90s just never ended.
Well, there you go.
Here, another 90s staple cartoon, which was very boundary pushing, just like Beavis and Butthead, as far as censors went, Ren and Stimpy. That was something else that I watched all the time. As a matter of fact, that was my very, very, very first CD that I ever owned. Was the Ren and Stimpy CD.
Happy,
but
joy,
just because
joy,
of the happy
joy,
joy.
joy, happy, joy, joy, happy, joy, joy.
Dude, I fucking love that. That's like one of the best episodes. Just seeing Ren flip the fuck out. And if you see like the shit that they did well after that, like the X-rated stuff, oh my god, that shit is out of control. I think the one episode Ren knocks up Stimpy so they can have a kid. I was like, holy fuck, this is just like completely out in left field. I was like, holy shit, but that cartoon, I love that to death and still do.
Rocco's Modern Life. Rocco's Modern
Rocco,
Life.
hey.
Dude, and that game is actually pretty fucking decent too. I played on Super Nintendo. I like that a lot.
I like the series. I like Rocco's Modern Life because his best friend Heifer, who's a cow, lives with a wolf pack. His family is a pack of wolves. And you just watch the episodes and you think, you're going to end up on a burger bun one day and they're going to fucking eat you, mate.
Yeah.
And he always had this weird eye. One of his eyes was round and then the bottom of his other eye was like... had this...
Yeah, I think they were supposed to be the world according to Picasso.
No,
No,
there is one series I want to talk about.
what's that?
Pokemon. The whole Pokemon series.
No.
The first season was fantastic. I enjoyed that. They did the second season, and then they started doing all the Johto regions, and I thought, for fuck's sake, just let this cartoon die.
Yeah,
once they
and it's
jumped
still going
into
on
the-
today.
I know, they're up to what, 5th generation shit now?
Oh my god.
Season 20? And Ash is not aged a day.
And still voiced by a girl.
And has only ever worn 2 outfits throughout the whole fucking thing.
Much like Bart Simpson.
Well, yeah. Continuing on.
Continuing on with cartoons. Little
Yeah, I know.
Dragon Ball.
No,
Dragon Ball,
RazörFist
Dragon
has
Ball
had
Z.
enough of cartoons, sounds like.
I ain't finished.
Oh, Dragon Ball, come on.
Leave me alone. I
Dragon
enjoyed
Ball
that
is
too.
crap. It's a manga adaptation. It's so
fucking-
slow.
Okay, you know what? You guys, we haven't even talked about the real Ghostbusters. I tried and you didn't pay any attention to me. You're all sons of bitches.
I don't know. I liked it a lot.
Oh, yeah. But I want to say, after season 2, after Lorenzo Music left that show and Dave Coulier came in, fuck Dave Coulier in his ear.
Hey,
With the
cut
spike.
it out.
I really hate Dave Coulier.
We need a dude. He was literally
That
the
sounds like
perfect
such a fucking
example
made-up
of a child
name.
predator. Like he
A
just
child
reeked of child predator. It was so fucking terrible. That and, what the fuck was it? That woodchuck puppet that he had.
Yeah, see, you make all these threats, Yellkaos, but I don't know if you. What?
Oh man, that pun right there. See that's a good pun. Good pun is good.
There is one video game related cartoon that I want to talk about.
Oh my god.
No, you might like this. Earthworm Jim.
I never watched it. So I don't
Earthworm
really-
Jim had a fantastic cartoon, and it was based very loosely around the series. Look it up. It does have. It was quite good. Everyone's like, "Oh, there was a cartoon for Earthworm Jim." Yeah, there was. Look it up. It tells you the story of how he got his suit properly.
Yeah, that's
We should
fantastic.
delve back
Hey, what
into
about
the
the rest of
mailbag.
the show?
Yeah, no kidding, right? Well, long story short, too late. Cartoons are fantastic. I just want you to know that. So keep watching your cartoons, and it'll keep you in fucking denial about the rest of the world. For those of you who don't take your worldviews from reruns of I Love Lucy, we have more mail right here at the YouTube inbox, and it comes from Worst Assassin Ever. Worst Assassin Ever says, I understand that all of you are big fans of fighting games, but what would you say is the worst fighting game you've ever played?
Street Fighter 3 Third Strike.
Street Fighter 4.
Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
Oh man, ouch.
Tekken 6.
Soul Calibur 4.
Soul Calibur 5.
God
Tekken
damn,
6.
that was fast.
Yeah, Tekken 6. Tekken Tag Tournament 2. I'm not interested in it whatsoever. I've tried it.
Yeah, it's
Like,
getting heavy in here.
I know. Dark Rift.
Oh God.
Kazumi Ninja,
Star Wars Masters of the Terraska Sea.
Terakazi.
X-Men Mutant Academy.
Biofreaks.
Oh! Ouch! Killed us
Ouch.
both. Monster combo.
I was trying to think of something really bad, and I was just like, yeah, that.
Rise
That'll
of the
work.
Robots.
That'll do.
Eternal Champion.
Rise of the Robots. Come on.
Virtua Fighter on the 32X.
Oh.
Oh.
Virtua
ouch.
Fighter 2 on the Genesis.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. No. Samurai Showdown Sen. Done.
I'm
World
trying to-
Heroes on the Super Nintendo.
Oh man. You know, Eternal Champions is not a bad game. Whoever the fuck said that can die in a fire.
I was gonna say, when I think of Eternal Champions, I think of the most epic version. That's Eternal Champions CD. That game's fucking amazing and
Yeah,
has some of the
Eternal
best fatalities ever.
Oh, Eternal Champions was the shit. Man, terrible comic though. Terrible.
Oh,
comic.
what was it? Primal Rage on the Genesis wasn't very good.
Primal
Primal
Rage on
Rage full
any
stop.
To be no. To be fair, Primal Rage on arcade is just fucking fantastic. Ridiculous.
I honestly have never even seen the arcade cabinet like ever in my entire life. Like I played the console version. I was like, nah, I'm good.
No. Primal Rage on arcade is a legit like good game, but they really, you could tell they didn't have much of a port budget when they brought it over to SNES and Genesis and whatever. It was just what the fuck was up with.
Wait a minute. How the fuck did I forget? Shaq Fu.
Oh,
It says you sat with about 15 copies of it.
and we're deceased.
we ain't finished yet. We ain't finished yet. Sonic the Fighter.
Oh dear.
Sega recently announced they're doing a whole like best of fucking arcade games. They put like games like Virtua on and other, like this big football game that they had and another fucking game, and I can't remember that one. Oh, Virtua Fighter 2, I think they did. And they've put Sonic the Fighters in this fucking set as well. And I was like, what are they sniffing? Because I want some. Because they've just put that set together, and then they have all these sort of good games, and then one really good game, and then they put Sonic the Fighter. And I'm like, why? Why?
Why is it a bad game? I've never experienced it
You've
myself.
never played Sonic the Fighter?
No, can't say that I have. I've
Well-
seen it in arcades. I've seen it, in Las Vegas and so on, but I've never played it.
Have you ever played Sonic R?
I may or may not have. There's 100,000 Sonic games. What difference does it make?
Well, basically, it's one of the very, very bad Sonic games.
Oh well.
It was
Wait,
one of the
what about-
Blake
what about-
versions.
What about Brutal Paws of Fury?
Oh,
I'm gonna
furry
be sick in my mouth. Excuse me.
I've already done it. Oh, have we any more bad fighting games to throw out?
No, I think we talked this one out.
Can
but yeah.
can we actually throw out some good fighting games?
No, we're gonna make
No,
everyone sick.
That
Think
wasn't the
about it.
question.
Yeah.
We've already
I
talked about
want to wash this taste out of my mouth.
Well, don't worry. We're going to work on it right now. Another piece of mail coming to us at hatebitpodcast@gmail.com comes to us from Protoman. And Protoman says, Dear metalheads and nerds of the Hate-Bit Podcast, I want to know why the irate gamer is so hated and despised. Is it just because he's considered to be ripping off the AVGN, or is it for other reasons too? P.S. Good to see I'm not the only one who hates Jim Sterling, the fat fuck. Thanks for reading and keep up the good work.
The only
Go-
thing
take
I
it
can
away,
respond
Alpha.
with is,
Oh,
haven't you heard us already talk him into the ground and explain why we have unadulterated fucking pure hatred for him? Like, we've said it time and time again. The guy's a fucking hack, a fake, a phony. He's a piece of shit overall. He's literally nothing but a fucking cyst. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, the dude, can't fucking review worth a shit. He's not fucking funny. He can't act worth a fuck. He can't edit worth a fuck. And he bought his entire game collection one day just so that he could fucking somehow bump up the so-called quote-unquote success of his stupid fucking ghost hunting escapades, which are fucking just as goddamn retarded.
Yeah, just for perspective, okay? Just in case you're wondering, you know, how bad the irate gamer is. Hi guys, irate gamer here. He can't pronounce his own name. He can't pronounce his own name. That's all. Like, that's all you need to know. Like, from word go, the guy cannot do the very first thing he has to do correctly. And it's all downhill from there for the irate gamer. That's basically the problem I have with him, is he can't talk. The man needs public speaking classes. He has the charisma of a beat. He has absolutely no insight, no ability to review. He is not funny. He is never even accidentally funny. And like that's just basically the irate gamer in a nutshell. It has nothing to do with him being a plagiarist. Sure, being a plagiarist makes him a dick sack, but I really think some of that stuff was blown out of proportion. His greatest failing is that he sucks. He's just not good at what he does. So
Good talk. Yes.
That kind of alliterated everything that we were all thinking.
No. What I was thinking was, who gives a shit about this guy?
nobody, and that's what's so great. People, even the people who were just subscribed to him out of a sense of Schadenfreude, have long since moved on to greener pastures.
Yeah,
you know?
I would hope so.
Oh yeah, he lost subscribers by the boatload. If you look at some of the comparisons, it's really quite staggering compared to where he was like a year ago. It's really quite funny.
Well, fuck him. Anyway, that's going to do it for the Hate-Bit Bag. We thank you for joining us here on the Hate-Bit Bag. And please drop us any questions, comments, concerns at hatebitpodcast@gmail.com. Don't forget, this week's Hate-Bit Bag was brought to you by the Hate-Bit Podcast very own Make Your Own Slag Kit. Let me see. Oh, and now on to more news. RazörFist brought this up, and so I don't know why, but it says right here, it says 70 million through Xbox 360 units have sold for some reason.
Yeah, in the immortal words of Dr. Ian Malcolm, now that is one big pile of shit.
Oh. So I would just like to say, Fanboy Wars, engage.
What I want to know is why would anybody care about 70 million Xboxes when 35% of that is probably fucking rebuys because the first one fucking broke. And if anybody says, oh, the Red Ring of Death was solved, you know, they sorted it out, bullshit. I've seen Xbox 360 Slims fucking have a red ring. So work that out. If they say they re-release the fucking thing to, you know, to remedy the fucking problem, yeah, it remedies it for a certain amount of time, and then it happens. You know, it's one of Xbox's major failings, the Red Ring of Death. It happened I was working in game when the Xbox 360 released, and I tell you what, we had about 25 Xbox 360s in, with games shipped out, you know, to people. Half of them came back because the things went boom, or they had the Red Ring of Death. That thing was rushed, and 70 million fucking consoles, yeah, it's a big number, but don't forget, you got to take into account is how many is that of that 70 million?
Yeah, but
working?
I completely disagree, man. No, because at the end of the day, half of this fucking problem is used 360s. Nobody wants to spend the full price on new consoles, even though they've dropped the price a bunch of times. So they go and they get them from GameStop, and I worked at GameStop, and I can flat out tell you, they don't refurbish shit at GameStop, okay?
I agree.
You buy a used system, 90% of the time it was brought in as a first-gen system that had a problem with the Red Ring of Death because it didn't have the Jasper motherboard or whatever. And so they brought it in. It needed to be refurbished, so what did GameStop do? They shipped it out to their big factory, and they futzed with it until it turned on, And then they said, okay, refurbished, and then they shipped it back, and then within months it was brought back. I really think a very high percentage of the defective rate on the 360 is as a result of the fact that Game and GameStop are the two largest retailers in the world for video games, and neither one of them properly refurbish systems.
No, I'm saying this from behind the scenes. We have PS2s with similar problems. We get them in. They say, all right, test it on the TV. Yeah, it works. Okay, that's it. And then
they do nothing.
Then they stick it in a box, send it off to wherever these magic places go. And what they do, they wipe it down with a cloth and put it back in the box and send it back to the store.
Yeah, basically.
But they do that with the 360s. They do that with the PlayStations. They do that with the Nintendos. But this is what I mean. I'm on about the failure rate of these things from new. Some of them have just gone bang within 3 weeks. I have seen it happen myself. It's happened to me twice.
Yep.
So
and the thing is, I think it's early on the failure rate was somewhere around 33%, which is absurd.
It was huge.
And obscenely high. It dropped around 2008 because they busted out the new model of motherboard. It still didn't fully correct the problem until they broke out the the Slim system or whatever. And now it seems largely ameliorated. And I believe firmly right now that 360 and PS3 have identical failure rates. Actually, my launch 360 outlived my editor's PS3. His PS3 just yellow lighted. Did that.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah, so and I got this sumbitch at launch, but yeah, it's not as cut and dry as all that. I think both systems have a really high failure rate, and it's kind of stupid. The difference, and I'll say this to the end of time, is Microsoft support is 1,000 times more helpful than Sony's. Sony's like, oh, what's that? You got the yellow light of death? Well, you get to pay for shipping, and you get to pay for the new console or the new hard drive or whatever, and it'll take for fucking ever, by the way. It's like, if you get a hold of us at all. With 360, it's like, okay, whatever, it's on us, you pay for shipping, so.
Well, I called the UPS man the Xbox ambulance.
Nice.
No, but saying that PlayStation 3's, I'm not saying this as a fanboy, I'm saying this. I've had this PS3 now for 4 years. Before that, I had a PS3 for 2 years, and that yellow lighted. And when I phoned them up to say, can you send me out a new one to fix it? Because that's what they do. They send out a guy with a yellow box. Right? He comes to your door. And he opens it up and there's a brand new PS3 in there to replace the one that you're going to send back. Here's the catch. You cannot change the hard drive over to the new PS3. Your old hard drive out your PS3 with all your game saves and all your shit you've fucking done with it. Can't do that. You have to leave it in there.
Yeah.
Unless you back it up onto your PC. That. And if your PlayStation 3 is yellow lighted, it is a fucking bitch to get the data off because it's encrypted with their fucking file scheme and it's stupid.
But yeah, on the sales subject, it's not too shabby of a number considering I think this time last year they reported sales of 50 million. So I mean, 20 million sold in annual sales like 7 years after the console's initial launch. I know Nintendo and Sony would take those numbers right now, definitely. But
Sure.
But, and this is the catch, and this is why I brought it to your attention, Yellkaos. If you read the fine print, you'll see plain as day that Microsoft's same-day profits from last year are actually down by over 500,000 units. But, pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. That's why I brought it to your attention, because it's like, they're 70 million in sales, but we're not making as much.
Yeah.
And
sure.
let me just put it this way. Nobody cares. Move on.
Well, yeah, it's the same goddamn figures like people who tell me that Metallica is somehow fucking relevant because the Black Album sold 20 million albums or whatever.
Wow.
Like that fucking means anything. It came out 25 fucking years ago. Impress somebody else. Well, that sounded like vitriol. I'm terribly sorry.
It's okay. I'm tired.
Anyway, you know what? Now that we're in the second half of the podcast, I guess it's time for the Hate-Bit Retrospective. And we're going all the way back. We're going to talk about some stuff from way back when, because that's what we do right here in the Hate-Bit Retrospective. And we're talking about racing games. Now, Alpha Omegason is just frothing at the crotch right now, because he has played more racing games than God. Isn't that true, Alpha Omegason?
It is. Me and my frothy crotch agree. Now,
On the plus side, I believe that my god has taste, so he probably wouldn't play racing games. So that's not really an argument.
Yeah, I'm sure your god doesn't have a frothing crotch either.
And I don't have a god, but I play racing games. And racing games, they are my area of expertise. Because I love cars. Cars are the best thing in the world. Continue.
I have a god. He has horns and lives in fire and stuff. So,
I have a god.
with
I
that
love
being
them.
His name is Hagar.
with that being said, and all those circles down there and layers and whatnot, so racing games, I'll go and throw out one that I played the living shit out of whenever I was younger and still play a whole bunch, and that is Ridge Racer. Because Ridge Racer is a really, 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 really awesome series, unless you think about the one for the Vita, which is nothing but downloadable content. And there was another one which was equally as crappy because they decided to forego the whole arcade feel for a simulation feel, and I forget which one that was. It's one of the... It's like last gen or some shit. I forget, but it was fucking rubbish and stupid. But yeah, I really like arcade style racing games to begin with because you can just pick them up, play. You know, it's a lot of fun to do stuff like that. I just prefer that in general. But yeah, I like Ridge Racer a lot. So huzzah, Ridge Racer.
I like arcade races, but I prefer simulation races. For example, the Gran Turismo series. No, I like cars. I like realism. I've always been one of those, for me, racing games, they have to be realistic. And the fact that I can go out in a £50 million car, for example, drift it, drive it into the ground, crash into a wall and not get a scratch on it, that just makes me laugh. But, you know, just actually learning how the car behaves and learning how I know it's a joypad and everything, or a steering wheel and stuff like that, but you learn the fundamentals of appreciating how a car handles and how a car moves and how a car looks. But there is one guilty pleasure for racing games for me, and that is kart races. Mario Kart, fucking Mod Nation races, fucking Street Racer, all of those fucking types of kart games. Love them, fantastic. That
shit, man, you're missing one of the best kart racers of all time in that list.
Well, I'll just mention the three that just jumped into my head straight away.
Crash Team Racing.
Crash Team Racing. I have a version of that on the PSP.
That game's fucking sweet, and I love that whole bunches.
I remember playing the demo, and I was like, I have to have this game. Dad, money, now.
That's usually the way it went. You guys are missing out, man. You guys completely skipped over the arcade, man. There was some great racing, driving games in the arcade.
Well, we're going to let you fill that void.
And I'm filling the void. You know, I mean, I can't tell you how much I'm filling it right now.
And that's thanks to the slag kit that we were talking about earlier.
Exactly. You know, it really works. That this is a personal testimonial from the mighty Yellkaos.
If it's
slag kit, you'll never have another lonely Halloween night. Let me tell you.
Well, he's currently sat in the complimentary pie hose.
Well, you know, I'm filling it with... Never mind, that's not important. What is important is that you guys left out what's going on in the arcade, man. Two great arcade racing games, and I don't know if they really constitute as racing games now that I really think about it, but one from Atari. And if you remember, the big sit-down, you know, arcade cabinet was Hard Drivin', which was sort of artificial, you know, rendered vector graphics, and a fantastic game. Do you remember that one, Alpha Omegason?
Me personally, no, I don't.
Oh man, see, that's making me feel old.
There was a hard driving on the Mega Drive.
You gotta go with the classic. You gotta go with pole position.
Pole position is fantastic,
For
absolutely.
Christ's sake, it's in a Judas Priest music video. I mean,
Which immediately validates it, right?
exactly. Rob Halford was in pole position. For Christ's sake.
There we go.
And
In
I
all
was
its
gonna say
pixelated
that-
goodness.
And a
speaking
pole
of the
position
puns
was
that
in
we were
Rob
talking
Halford,
about,
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got to throw that out there. I also, goddamn, I loved this game on PS1 that was like if F-Zero fucked 1080 snowboarding. It was a hoverboard racer called Streak. Have you ever played it?
Oh yeah.
You guys played it? Anyways, I loved it. It was like you did tricks, but you were playing, you were racing at the same time, and like you had like a boost and shit. It was a good game, actually. I really enjoyed it. I always like the gimmick. I always like the gimmicky racers because car games are boring to me. Gran Turismo is more boring than Church to me. I fucking hate Gran Turismo. I love Mario
Church is
Kart, and I'm gonna have to throw Diddy Kong Racing out there.
Mhm.
yeah.
Because you had the planes and the bumper boats, and then you had adventure mode where you got to explore the whole world and race
That was
at the
my
same
favorite
time.
part, oddly.
Oh yeah, the game had a lot going for it. Crash Bandicoot Racing actually wasn't half bad. I remember playing the demo for that on like a PS2 demo disc, and I enjoyed it. So yeah, our Forsaken, throw that out there.
That was a good game.
Oh, great game. I love when they add the combat into the racing. And they throw that in there. Kind of a la Twisted Metal a little bit.
I'm just going to go along the Twisted Metal sort of vein here, and it was using 70s cars, but it was very, very arcadey, and it was the Interstate series, Interstate 76 and Interstate 82, which eventually got rebranded and put onto the 64, and it was called Vigilante 8. And
Yeah.
they were fantastic games, because all it was basically a machine gun on top of a muscle car, driving around the desert, blowing the fuck out of each other. Just some classic games. Look,
Oh, and then we got to throw out for the Sega fanboys.
Yep.
Road Rash.
Road Rash.
Yes.
Gotta
The
do
Road
it.
Rash series, and remember, if you want to play the first Road Rash properly, get it on 3DO because it's amazing.
Daytona.
Oh yeah, Daytona USA. My God, on Saturn and on Dreamcast, if you
Virtua
hit the
Racing.
opportunity,
Virtual
play it in the
Racing.
fucking arcade.
Virtual
I
Racing.
would also throw Cruisin' USA out there. Actually,
That's a
I really
good
enjoyed Cruisin' USA, and I swear to God, the broad in the bikini that says "checkpoint" is forever like burned into my brain.
We have missed one huge Sega racing game.
Indy 500,
No. Outrun.
The Sega Rally series.
Outrun.
Outrun.
Oh,
We
yeah.
missed Outrun.
And Hang On.
Hang on.
Hang
yeah,
on, Super
that was
Hang
with
On.
motorbikes. And we had
I say what we were gonna, Fist was talking about PlayStation 1, man, the Jet Moto series. I'm a major advocate of the Jet
Yeah.
Moto series,
Extreme
Jet Moto was
G.
very-
and no one can stop me.
Extreme
And
G
Jet Moto
racing.
had advertisements that made sense.
Yeah, like Mountain Dew.
Yeah, Mountain Dew was all they needed everywhere because that was
Yeah.
like the extreme sports craze that are like, put that Mountain Dew billboard up there, and then when you're trying to grapple onto one of those things to make a sharp turn, you just smash right into it and then fall to your death, and your dude just jumps off going, oh!
Well, you notice like in Jet Moto, like how like Twisted Metal felt kind of like post-apocalyptic in some spats. It's like
Yeah.
almost like Jet Moto was just after the apocalypse, like just then.
Yeah, and
know,
people
sure, the
still
free-
had money to have fun and everything.
I know,
for
like sure the
leisurely
freeway collapsed, but Mountain Dew and Dragon sunglasses.
because nobody has really mentioned it yet, and I already know that everybody will be like, "Oh yes, I am behind that 100%."
Yeah, it's like
Is-
our economy collapsed yesterday. Oh, but Mountain Dew.
Here's one.
F-Zero.
Here's one. Yeah, we've got F-Zero. We'll have a talk about that in a minute. But who remembers on the 64, PlayStation, PC, all of them, there was a little car game called Carmageddon. Who remembers Carmageddon? Where you just
You're
driving
right.
around killing people. It was Death Race, but the video game.
Never
I
played it.
know of the Carmageddon games, but I never really. I thought that are they really racers?
Yeah.
Huh? I kept
You're
on
driving
thinking
around
that they were kind of
car,
like
running
Destruction
people
Derby,
over.
like Twisted Metal and whatnot.
No, they're racing games.
Huh?
Yeah,
No, but Alpha was trying to say F-Zero, motherfuckers. You gotta, what the
I
fuck?
know, but
F-Zero,
so-
F-Zero might be the best game listed here. What the fuck?
Yes.
Come on.
I mean, just from
God,
its
that goes
early
without
start
saying.
on SNES all the way up until the GameCube version made by the mighty motherfuckers at Sega. And one thing that gets really overlooked, and it's unfortunate, but I just tell people emulate it if you want to try it, is the ones on Game Boy Advance, GP Legend, and damn it, I can't remember the other one now for the life
and
of me.
F-Zero 2. People don't even know fucking F-Zero 2 exists. Like, it's
Yeah.
like, there are all kinds of games like that in the F-Zero series that just kind of got overlooked, and maybe that's why they eventually retired it.
And the fucking arcade game that I still haven't tried. I just want to play it once. It's not so much for this man to ask just to see I would be happy just to see the machine and sit in it. I don't even need to play it. I would just be happy to sit in it. But it's fucking awesome.
F-Zero maximum velocity.
That's the one I was
Yeah,
going to say
that's-
because I found it on my 3DS.
I'll say no. I was just flipping through the Game Boy book. I'm like, ha ha!
Aha! Success!
Turned into Danny DeVito's Penguin. Interesting.
Success!
Burn,
let's see,
baby, burn!
Another one that we can throw out there made by Nintendo, which doesn't get a whole lot of love, and I always wondered if they did a reboot of it for the 3DS, if fans would take to it, but it's Rad Racer. The first two Rad Racer games were on NES. I know the original
Racer was
came with
actually
3D
square.
glasses. What's up?
Red Racer was square.
Dude, was it? I could have swore
Yeah.
that was a Nintendo property.
No?
No, it was a Nintendo published, but that was square.
It was
Square.
Square.
Oddly, I did not know that until just now. I really thought that was Nintendo developed and published.
Well, the first one was like a silver label, so it looked similar to a black label in Nintendo, and it was Nintendo published. But the second one was SquareSoft published, as far as I know.
Like, I shit you not. Like, I have it I have it in a box. I'm staring at it. I honestly thought it was just part of those Nintendo games, like the original Black Label, but like came out after those. But I still throw the Rad Racer games. I mean, they were hard as piss to me whenever I was younger. I can actually go through them now, but I like those a lot. One series, which is really cool just because of its gimmick of destruction, is Burnout.
Oh,
The Burnout games.
Oh, that's a good one.
It's just fun seeing your car get thrashed into fucking traffic and see how much chaos you can ensue. It's a lot of fun, and it really doesn't get boring. I play the shit out of the third one on Xbox a lot and love that to death.
One I really like?
The first 10 years of Need for Speed, because after 2004 it went downhill. Just thought I'd put that out there.
I'm trying to remember. Like, I like Need for Speed 3 Hot Pursuit a lot, because that was it was very original at the time to have the cops chasing you and everything.
Yeah.
And,
That was super cool.
And then
Dude,
and then being able to play as the cops and
Yeah.
That's why I said the first 10 years. Because it came out in 1994, and then in 2004 they brought out Need for Speed Underground 2.
Yeah.
And after that, it went shit.
See, and the only reason I even I didn't like the first Underground game at all, but the second one I liked a lot, and I just liked it because you could make cars and everything. So me and my friends would all sit around at my very first apartment. We all had our own cars, and I drove the bitch tits car, the Celica, but that thing it smoked every other car unless I'm just a really, really good driver or something, but nobody could beat me when I was using the Celica, no matter what car that they had. But yeah, it was. I liked that game a whole lot, but I didn't like playing it just solo because then it was boring as shit.
Yeah, let me field this real quick. I actually like it a lot, even though a lot of people don't care for the movie it's attached to. Star Wars Pod Racer.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's good. That's really good. Whenever we were talking earlier about the movie-related games, I was like, the Episode 1 Racer on N64 was fucking awesome.
It is, yeah. It's a really got great tracks, a great selection of racers. Each vehicle genuinely kind of handles and feels differently, and it's just I would put it right up there with F-Zero X actually in that sort of generation of racing games and weird racing games.
It kind of reminded me of Wipeout.
It did.
quite a bit too.
bit.
Like,
That's another
I mean,
racing
from like
game.
a control standpoint, it reminded me of Wipeout, but it definitely is reminiscent of F-Zero and everything. But I mean, they were really fucking fun, and it was cool because not only were they like really, really fucking fast, but the frame rate was really high. Graphically, the games looked really good, for their time. And it's got the Star Wars label on it. And if anybody was out there just like fucking excited about Episode 1, God bless your fucking soul. But you had a really cool game to play that's attached to it. So yeah, that's definitely like a good contender there.
Yeah, it was certainly better than the Episode 1 game itself.
Oh yeah, the Episode 1 game was horrible. But just going to put it out there. Some of the I have limited experience with the 64. But I did have a friend that had a lot of 64 racing games, and we found ourselves playing a lot of racing games on the 64. For example, Wave Race. We had.
Hell yeah.
So if you didn't say Wave Race, you're gonna get shot in the kneecaps.
No, Wave Race was a release title, and he got it on release. So there was Wave Race. Obviously, we mentioned Diddy Kong and Mario Kart. We haven't mentioned Mario Kart actually.
Hell, man, you got the San Francisco Rush games.
Yeah, I was going to go
on N64. Which, if you are going to play them on Dreamcast. Trust me. But 64 still can't go wrong with it, or get a MAME ROM of it and just play it that way. Beetle Adventure Racing. That game is fucking awesome. Don't knock it till you try it. I understand it's got a fucking Volkswagen Beetle, and that seems pretty fucking stupid, but it's honestly it's a lot of fun. I'm trying to think what other ones were on there that I liked a whole lot.
Micro Machines on.
I never
any
got to
system.
try that.
Micro Machines on the Mega Drive / Genesis was good. It was made by Codemasters, and they put them on these cartridges called the J cartridge. And on the top of the cartridge there was 2 extra sockets for controllers, so you could have 4-player races on there. And the whole point of the 4-player races was to knock all your other opponents either off the track, so then you can blitz it down the track and win a point.
Or hey, gimmicky. You want to talk gimmicky racers on earlier systems? Fucking Uniracers on SNES. Friggin' unicycle racing game. Like, that would only sell when there's nothing else to play during the launch of the SNES.
It caters to that hardcore circus and clown type
I know.
of person out there.
People who are really into Steve Urkel. That's who that appealed to.
And mimes love that shit.
And mimes. I can't believe no one's really said, and I've been meaning to bring it up, and I'm gonna do it right now. Is
Good.
Once again, 1080 Avalanche for the GameCube.
1080 period.
Well,
They are
1080
fantastic.
on the previous iterations, like on the N64, was a little more trick based, whereas the second one, or the 1080 Avalanche on the GameCube, much more of a downhill racer, and a fucking intense downhill racer at that.
I know, I was playing it the other day. It's really good.
Yeah, don't sit too close to the screen when you watch that, when you play that game. You'll get sick.
Oh, I have to put this will be my final one I'll throw out there, and I have to, on behalf of metalheads everywhere, and the fact that it was overlooked up until my brain decided to go and jog to old memory banks. But Rock and Roll Racing
Ooh.
Yeah, I was
has
gonna
one of
say
the
that
best
earlier.
fucking soundtracks
Yeah.
ever, and it's a fucking Blizzard title. Like, what?
Yeah, and those two games, that game and Stunt Effects Racers on SNES, both kind of blend together. I got them both at the same time and had a blast with both of them. Stunt Effects Racer, totally different kind of game.
Oh yeah.
Different. They
Dude.
were using those. They were using those Vector Mode 7, whatever the fuck they're called. The
The
Star
Mode
Fox
7
type
graphics they use for Star Fox.
Yeah, the Star Fox type graphics on it, and it's great. You got special moves and you got different racing. It was really good. So yeah.
Anybody else want to throw out their last tidbits? Yeah.
I think we talked it out. I think we're good.
I think
Yeah, I
sorted
think
that out.
we had a great big discussion. Did I mention Road Blasters by Midway?
No, you
No.
didn't.
Well, Road Blasters by Midway is fucking amazing. And if you didn't play it in the arcade, that probably means you're 12 years old. It was a great game, and you should get yourself a hold of it. And you know what's funny is we talk about all the racing, and we never mention the fact that racing in the arcade is fun, whereas racing and driving outside sucks because people can't fucking drive. Did you know that? They're fucking terrible. I want you to know this. This is from me to you. So, which means that we've reached toward the end of the podcast, and it's my favorite time, your favorite time, the best part of the entire podcast. That's right, and here comes my friend, your friend, everybody's friend, RazörFist for the Rants. RazörFist, don't people drive like shit?
Yeah. What you have to understand right off the bat, and this is the proviso for the entire adjoining rant, is that as I'm recording this podcast, I'm fresh off a nice experience, a 35 to 40 minute experience on the expressway here in Phoenix. So this is fairly fresh in my mind. This is a heaping hot, bubbling cauldron of rage. To me, driving is a perfect exemplar of why evolution is a lie. Because the idea of evolution is that, you know, as time goes on, the strong and the brilliant survive, and therefore it stands to reason that the fat and the fucking retarded would gradually be weeded out of society. But if you look at driving, it like disproves that on every single fucking level. I mean, at the turn of the 19th to the 20th century, via, I guess, the miracle of the internal combustion engine, the automobile was in its infancy, right? In retrospect, much of what we've come to identify with the modern car and or truck and or SUV and or the interpersonal pretentiousness party on wheels known as the modern hybrid vehicle was already present and accounted for. You had your steering wheel, right? You had your leather upholstery. Why, the Model T even had the classic spare tire mounted on the trunk. But one thing it didn't have, at least not initially, was a turn signal. The concept, as a matter of fact, wasn't even officially patented until, I think, like the 1930s, which means for damn near 40 fucking years, if you owned a car and you had occasion to course correct, you had to stick your hand out the window, point your fucking fingers, shout German profanity, whatever the fuck it took, to let the person behind you know you were about to, you know, alter course, and they should give slowing the fuck down a fucking try, lest they suffer a truncated lifespan. Yet, despite personal inconvenience, they did so. And yet now, we have a little switch less than half the size of a roll of nickels, not 2 fucking inches from the steering wheel. Your stubby digits are already wrapped around, and yet a preposterously high quantity of what the government would like me to refer to as people are still too apocalyptically fucking lazy to lift your little sausage fingers from a bucket of Colonel's original recipe for 5 goddamn seconds. And
there goes the mic.
Shit is getting intense.
I knocked it over. To flip that signal and let the guy traveling Mach 1 behind you know that he should head for the other side of the fucking sound barrier, you know? And now we've thrown yet another variable in the mix, right? The dreaded text message.
Oh.
Just what the most dangerous part of your daily routine needed. A highway filled with motorists driving with one hand and penning a master thesis with the other. What in the fuck could possibly go wrong there? And you dipshits want the newest variable to be hydrogen cars? Really? Sure, let's clog the roadway with 10,000 H-bombs on wheels. Let's hand each driver a text messaging device and, well, fuck it. Why not balance a plate on your nose and file your tax returns simultaneously? And now our president genuinely believes that some motherfucking commercials are going to stop the texting and driving phenomenon? Yeah, here's an idea. Why not inform him that their text messaging device happens to be attached to a fucking phone? Okay? And don't you dare fucking agree with me, because it's you. You're the fucking problem. I hope you all get shot. I'm RazörFist. Go fuck yourself.
Do we clap to that, or I think the mic?
No, I'll fucking clap to that. There, wait, hold on here. Yeah.
I really wish we could get the sounds of like guns firing just then.
Well, I can drop my mic again if you want.
Well, you know what's funny is when you dropped the mic, I thought you were doing that on purpose. You sound remarkably like Yosemite Sam.
I'm gonna not to the.
I swear, all I heard was you know, I didn't know like you dropped it. I thought it was like, you know, genuine emotion.
All he needed to do was scream varmint, and I'd be like, you get a gold star. And
dang old varmint!
Yeah.
Dude,
dang old varmint, go boom.
The texting thing is funny because there's so many times I see somebody cruising at a nice steady 85 miles per hour, weaving in and out of traffic, looking down at their iPhone. And the only thing I can think is, I hope somebody fucking brake checks you, you brake check it, and your iPhone goes through your fucking skull. That's all I want to see happen. Like,
No, my favorite
like
thing in the
Siri,
world-
can you hear me now? Can you?
No,
I have a
my
question to
favorite
ask.
thing in the world is when some guy is going Mach 70 in a residential area. He's going, it's a 25-mile-an-hour zone, and he's going 70 fucking 5. And it's hilarious because the laws of probability denote that not every single one of the people driving that fast in a residential area has an emergency to get to. You know what I mean? Because there's not that many grandmothers with cancer at any given moment on this fucking this spinning cerulean orb, we're currently living on. So it's impossible. So some of these assholes are risking your life, my life, and the lives of all the children in that neighborhood to go to the store and get bread, right? Like, there's a grain shortage and Iron Kids is flying off the fucking shelves. You know what I mean? Like, you need to die. You all need to die. Sorry.
And what's even better is, like, they keep talking about that they want to make it so that younger people can drive, even younger than 16. Meanwhile, have you seen what some of them do behind a wheel? It's like, all right, pack my fucking dad's sedan filled with my friends, and we're all going to go and do everything but pay attention to what the fuck is around us while we're driving. This is gonna be awesome. I have fucking radio blasting, everybody's fucking high-fiving, doing... Okay, the dude fucking driving the car is like trying to do a cartwheel inside the car while doing fucking 90 on the interstate. This is gonna end well, right? That's how you get
He's
face
changed.
wrapped
He's
around a
futzing with
fucking bumper.
The lady in front of me was futzing with her clock radio. She was actually adjusting her. She was literally setting her clock. I presume so the coroner would have an accurate time of death. But bitch.
There is one thing I want to talk about with American driving habits, and I've seen when you see people vlogging on the road, and they turn to the driver, and the driver sat there, right, with one leg up, right, no word about right, one leg up, whilst they sat on it, and the other foot is on the gas. Now, I don't know what what people drive over there. What is it? Automatic transmission half the time. Now, last time I checked, you need 2 feet. You need 2 feet to drive a fucking car, right? So,
What?
no,
I don't know if you know this, but I'm from America, and
well,
I've never
driving
seen
the
this. I've
Magnus.
never heard of this. I myself am prevented from doing such things. I have this condition called a scrotum that would never allow something like that. So where are you getting this information from?
No, I'm just saying. You see these people vlogging on the road, and they turn to the driver that they're driving with, and they sat like they're in the fucking front room of the fucking lounge.
Yeah.
Oh, gangsters! They're lying back in these fucking in these Cadillacs, and I swear they're lying on fucking sun loungers.
What I never understood is the principle, the implicit principle inherent in the idea that simply that you are more of a man. That simply by having the ability and strength and wherewithal to depress a pedal on the ground that requires, by the way, 0.0000019% of your overall body energy in order to depress, and no strength or endurance whatsoever, that suddenly your testicles swell to 17 times their normal size. I never understood that principle. It is the car that is faster. It's not you. All you did is push a pedal. You're not more of a man. Fuck yourself.
In fact, you're less of a man for making the payment every month.
Well, here, this is a little gripe that I have frequently, especially around my area, and it just leaves me fucking scratching my head in bewilderment. But, so, you're out and about doing your daily whatever the fuck, and then all of a sudden you hear that bumping bass shaking the ground, and here comes up a fucking $1.50 car with $2,000 worth of equipment in the back. So
I just so want to fucking drop a hand grenade in there with them.
Dude, every time I see it, you can literally from fucking miles away see fucking nuts and bolts of that car rattling the fuck off, because that shit is not able to fucking handle it, and it's poorly put in there to begin with. But they're like, yeah, I got this bump and bass banging, and they will seriously go up to a red light and like look up and down the street at whatever fucking prostitute is walking, like, yeah, bitch, you fucking like this shit.
Prostitute.
It's like, I would fuck your face with a crowbar,
Oh,
you
no.
fucking ignorant
No,
little
it's-
shit stain of a human being.
Oh, what
Yell-
about this is one thing this is a fucking pet peeve of mine, and that's when you see this, like, you know, this piece of shit $1.50 car, and they've got this really small, limp-wristed, weak-ass engine, and then they stick on the back of this fucking engine an exhaust. Now, this exhaust isn't a normal muffler that you buy. It's one that's
Yeah,
a fucking
it's
20
always
inch
fart noises
fucking
coming out of it.
pizza fucking tray on the end of this fucking exhaust pipe, and it does exactly that fucking noise. That annoys the fucking piss out of me.
Oh no, and Yellkaos will back me up on this because we're off here in the Southwest. But the really bad one is when you're waiting at a stoplight and all of a sudden you hear this blaring noise in the back. You're just in the distance. You're like, what the fuck is going on? All of a sudden you realize it comes clearer into focus. It's trumpets. And there's a Mexican gentleman singing really, really loud. Oh,
Hey,
there's Tejano music. And
you say what you want. You say what you want about that music, but at least it's always uniformly ending the same way. Bum bum.
Bum, bum.
But if you really break it down, it's polka music with trumpets.
No,
Am I
that's
wrong?
absolutely. Well, if you realize a lot of music kind of breaks down to just being polka music.
Polka, 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 polka.
Polka. You know what? You know what? While everyone else is gonna be mad about driving, I'm gonna be fucking mad about driving too. You know what I've had enough of? I've had enough of goddamn born free, proud to be an American, never forget 9/11, all this pro-American shtick bullshit on the back of Japanese, German, and Korean vehicles. You're so proud to be an
Similarly-
American that you would never shop there. Okay.
You got to remember all the cute stickers of, my honor roll students. Like, I would run your fucking honor roll student over, and it's not going to do
Turn
him
your
a lick of
honorable
fucking
student
good.
into a slag immediately.
Oh, and here's one thing I'm still
Come
really
here,
confused
Rebecca.
about. The entire thing of the $1.50 car with the $2,000 sound system in it. Well, what about the people that are like, oh man, I really like the Fast and Furious movies. Well, I decided to go and take what little bit of money I got from my minimum wage paying job. I bought a fucking 1998 Dodge Neon, and I put the weakest, worst looking fucking body kit on it ever conceivable. Oh wait, I couldn't afford that. I got a fucking Cavalier. Yeah, let me put a fucking drop kit on it. Oh, look at this shit. Yeah, isn't that fucking awesome? Meanwhile, this shit has rust stains, and you can see it most definitely was fucking duct tape on there in a couple spots. Way to fucking go, Jack. You're definitely impressing all the fucking pregnant
forget
bitches
the-
out there.
Don't forget the ones with the spinning rims on the '87 Dodge Diplomat.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, I owned an '87 Dodge Diplomat.
And
It
how
didn't have
big were your
spinning
spinning
rims,
rims?
They were not very quick at all, actually.
See?
It's a good car, is what I'm saying.
Yay, American domestic auto market!
It's
It's
bling.
a
It's bling. It's supposed to be a way of life. You buy
Oh, and
you
know
buy a
what?
big car, you drape it in money. Apparently, you just throw money at it, and then you're sat in a fucking cardboard box under the fucking flyover bridge because you can't afford to live anywhere because you spent it all on your fucking car.
Yeah, I will. However, I have to back up what Yellkaos says, but also add an addendum, sort of onto the end of it. Yes, I hate when people have the pro-American BS on the back of a German-made or Japanese-made car, but you know what else I hate? Anybody at all who has political bumper stickers of any description just all over the back window and back. It's like the mere act of me stopping behind you in traffic should not immediately inform me of your entire view. I don't need to see your anti-NAFTA bumper stickers, your Free the West Memphis 3, your fucking Free Tibet, your Vote Barack Obama. I don't need any of that fucking bullshit. Like, I should only know this if we've had a 3-hour conversation, is what I'm saying at the end of the day. So, cut it the fuck
Well,
out.
secondarily, these people are under the impression they fucking know something. Isn't that hilarious? It's like,
Yes.
dude, you drive a Dodge Caravan. You don't know shit.
Yeah, and if I see another coexist bumper sticker, I am going to open fire. If I have to pull into another used bookstore fucking parking lot and the resident, leering hippie on staff that day has a coexist bumper sticker, I'm just gonna ram right into her fucking car. I'm sorry. It's just gonna happen.
Yeah. However, I will share with you right now the best bumper sticker I ever saw that said, "Back off, man. I'm a scientist." Anyway, you know what? It happened again. You guys wasted another great big chunk of your life listening to the Hate-Bit podcast. I've been Yellkaos. Joining me as always has been the amorous Alpha Omega Sin.
If you're gonna pimp out a car, don't pimp out a PT Cruiser, or I'll punch you in the fucking junk.
The seductive Sainted Magnus.
Your ass better call somebody. There we go.
And the ravishing raucous RazörFist.
I regret nothing. I hope you all get shot. I'm RazörFist. Got fucking speed.
We thank you for joining us. It's been fabulous. It's been a great show, I think so anyway. So, we'd just like to remind you before we go...
Hate-Bit Podcast.